touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you. It is game week in college football. 2 of the 3 local schools play a real opponent this week. Kansas State plays Iowa State. That game will be in Ireland. Coach Chris Kleiman will be on the show this week. I actually got a chance to talk to him today. We'll play that for you later in the week. Really excited for you guys to hear my conversation with the head coach of the Kansas State Wildcats. They are one of the many teams who have a chance of winning the Big 12. There's probably 4 to 6 teams that realistically have a chance of coming out of the Big 12 and representing them in the college football playoff. BYU is ranked preseason. Kansas State, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Arizona State. So there's a lot of really good teams. You also might see a surprise team. Last year, Arizona State was picked last place in the Big 12. They represented the conference in the college football playoff. It is also a special week for the University of Kansas. They have a brand new shiny stadium, and they play Fresno State coming up this weekend. I will be there. Rob will be there. I imagine a lot of you will also be there as well. Really excited for the start of the college football season here on The Drive. Again, we're going to be joined by Chris Kleiman coming up later in the week. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here. Rob Brinton is here, taking you up to 5:30 when we talk a little Royals baseball with Josh Vernier. We're actually going to kick things off with the Royals. We'll do that in just a bit, but before, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. I would normally ask for you to ask 2 people, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. If you could just tell one person at any point this week to check out the show, I would greatly appreciate it. And number 3, I need you guys to remember that the open of the show is now brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place, with 5 metro locations serving great pizza for 25 years right here in Kansas City. So if you want some hot pizza and some cold drinks, make sure you stop by The Other Place, theotherplace.com as well. All right, let's start with the Kansas City Royals. The top text message right now on the text line. So for those of you that don't know how it kind of goes like a text stream online. The top text says, the Royals aren't making the playoffs. Give it up, fellas. Now, this wasn't directed at us. This was directed toward the midday show, but I don't think you have to give it up when it comes to the Royals. Yes, the numbers suggest that they will likely not make the playoffs, but the Royals, as of now, are doing absolutely everything that you can ask them to do to give themselves a legitimate chance heading into late August and September. Now, sure, it is going to be an uphill battle to climb. You have to be 5 games better than the Yankees between now and the end of the season. So, again, I'm not here to sell you a dream that the Royals are making the playoffs. But if you were telling the Royals that they have to win a certain number of games, and you were telling them that they got to take care of business against certain opponents, they did exactly that this week. They took care of business against the Nationals. You come back home against the team in the White Sox that the Royals have definitely owned over the course of the last season and a half, and the Royals did it. Now the Royals have an important series this week against the Texas Rangers. We'll see how they'll perform. Vern will be on the show throughout the course of the week to keep an eye on it. Again, I'm not telling you to go out and get ready to buy wild card tickets. I'm simply telling you the Royals, they're at least doing their part to make things interesting, and we'll see how interesting they can make this thing. You got the Rangers coming up. You got the Detroit Tigers coming up. If the Royals can continue to string some good months and get on a little bit of a run here, they will at least be interesting heading into September. I don't really know how much more you can ask the Royals to be. So the Royals, I think, checked off some very important boxes for them, and they won the games that they're supposed to win. Now, you can't slip up, and you got to play nearly perfect down the stretch in order to give yourself a chance. And this season, the Royals have been anything but nearly perfect. But if you are asking them to check off certain boxes, they did that this week. They got the necessary sweep against the Chicago White Sox. They routinely pummel on the White Sox. I'm going to give it up for the Kansas City Royals and what they were able to accomplish this week. And as we are heading into a new week and a fresh start, let's see how they do in a 4-game series against the Rangers, a team that's directly behind them in the wild card conversation, and also the Tigers, who might be the best team in the American League, certainly in the conversation of being the best team in the American League. We do have a rule on this show. Rob, I don't want to get to the random lineup yet. We'll get to that coming up in just a little bit. Let me give you a little bit of Chiefs before we get to the random lineup. Now, let me defend Kingsley Suamataia for just a little bit. Some of this, I feel, has been created by the Kansas City Chiefs. I remember when the Chiefs first drafted Felix Anudike-Uzomah. There has very rarely been any pressure on Felix, any conversation, and there has been no sense of disappointment that he has been one of the bigger first-round busts that they have had in their franchise's history. Local kid, went to K-State, went to Lee Summit. The draft was here in Kansas City, and the belief when he first got drafted was this is the redshirt year. So it kind of disarmed you a little bit because you were able to set your expectations for the future. And it would appear, based on this injury, based on how the first 3 years of his career is gone, maybe that future is never going to happen in Kansas City. But back to Kingsley Suamataia, it is impossible to me to remove that part of the feeling about Kingsley Suamataia is wrapped up in how he got treated last year. They treated him like he was the guy. There was never a competition at left tackle in June, July, and August. The Chiefs signified to all of us that they felt they had this position figured out. If you go spend a second-round pick on a player that is from Andy Reid's alma mater, and it is in Veach we trust, and the Chiefs get the benefit of the doubt in every single conversation, and that's earned based on how they perform, the Chiefs gave you every reason to believe that they had their left tackle until they started playing games. And then they started playing games. And in the middle of game number 2, they yanked Kingsley Suamataia, and that's when the criticism really started. That if the conversation around Kingsley would have been similar to the one that we had about Felix since day one, I don't know if he would be as polarizing as he feels to me. If you look at the numbers, I certainly get it. I'm not telling you that you need to believe in Kingsley. I'm not entirely sure if I believe in Kingsley. But one of the reasons that I think we're all hard on him is we saw the Chiefs give up on him last year, and they rarely give up on people as quickly as they gave up on him. They gave Kadarius Toney all the chances in the world. They still give Sky more opportunities. I have never seen them yank an opportunity away from a guy that they like as quickly as they did with Kingsley. The only other player I can think of them treating like this was Carson Steele, and it made sense. He was an undrafted running back. Yeah, you can be kind of hard on him a little bit. You don't have anything invested. This was a second-round pick that they sat down in the middle of game 2. And basically never gave him another chance at that position for the remainder of the year as the Chiefs were scrambling to try to figure out that position. Part of that was filled by they didn't have the right answer. So this year, as we're getting things going, and there's just not a lot of storylines right now, it's only so excited you can be about Robert Tonyan, you know? I mean, Robert Tonyan's their third tight end. You guys are smart. You know that he doesn't really factor in. It's just something to make you feel good in August until we get to the games that really matter. Kingsley matters. In fact, he is one of the more important players on their team. He is one of the more interesting storylines on the team. It's very hit or miss right now. He played 10 snaps this weekend. I'm going to give you the numbers from Pro Football Focus. He was their highest graded offensive player, 86.8. He was their lowest graded pass blocker, and it wasn't close. He got a 28.4 when it came to pass rush grade. No other player on their team got below a 72, but he was their top-graded run blocker at 89.2. Will Campbell gave this quote. He plays for the New England Patriots. He was a very talented offensive lineman out of LSU. He said, as a defensive player, if you make one play a game, they put you in the Hall of Fame. As an offensive lineman, if you give up one play a game, then you are working at Amazon. And that really put things into perspective. As an offensive lineman, you are not allowed to fail ever. And if you fail, the consequences of your failure are pretty drastic. I've told you guys this. I think Kingsley right now is the only player that they have on the hot seat. There is not a single other player on their entire roster that is on the hot seat. Not a quarterback, not a running back, not a wide receiver, not a tight end, not on any of the other offensive line positions. Nobody on defense. There is nobody currently that is in danger of losing their job other than Kingsley, because he is the only player that they have an immediate replacement for if it doesn't work. Kingsley will not be given 4 or 5 weeks to figure this thing out. He needs to figure it out immediately. And if he doesn't figure it out immediately, he will be doing like me and you. He will be watching the Chiefs from the sideline or in the stands. That's how important this is. A 28.4 when it comes to pass blocking. I mean, a 28.4 in the regular season means packet hurts. That's what it means. So, yeah, the 10 snaps, okay. But right now, I think you have, I don't want to say it's a problem because it's a very limited sample size. But if you are looking for something to look at, something to watch in the early part of the season, there's one player that you are looking for, and it's him. They're not getting rid of Josh Simmons. He's a first-round pick at left tackle. They love him. He will be given every opportunity to succeed and fail. There's one player on their team that will not be given those opportunities, and it's Kingsley. So let's see how it goes. Again, I'm not here to tell you that it's going to be great. I'm not here to tell you that it's bad. They've played a handful of preseason snaps. But if you look at the teams that they are going up against in terms of pass rush, you're going up against the Chargers. You're going up against the Eagles and that defensive line, maybe the best in the National Football League. You're going up against the Giants that have spent a lot of resources the last couple of years to have a dominant pass rush. You're going up against the Baltimore Ravens. That offensive line, and more specifically, Kingsley Suamataia, is going to be tested from the very, very beginning of the season. And I'm telling you right now, he is the first one who could potentially be voted off the island. He can be the weakest link. And they are not going to have the patience for him the way that they are going to have with Josh Simmons. You ain't Josh Simmons. This is a team right now that doesn't have a lot of storylines because their roster's set. They're good. We all think they're winning their division. They're going to be right there in the mix with Baltimore, Buffalo, to win another Super Bowl, to go to another Super Bowl. The biggest storyline, and I don't really think that it's close, is Kingsley Suamatai's development and what does that look like for the 2025 season. I will not leave you guys hanging. We have a rule, we have a standard on this show, and I'm not interested in breaking that. We have a rule. If we talk about the Royals in the first segment of the show, it can only mean one thing. Rob, just because it's football season, that doesn't mean we neglect our routine. Hit it, Rob.
We're where you want to be. Baseball with the Royals. If you want to be.
Carrying today's Random Royals lineup takes us back to a year where it was all happy times, 2003. We're on this date in 2003. The Royals went on the road and got spanked by the New York Yankees. Here was their lineup that day.
Rob, you always know how to put a smile on my face.
Leading off in right field, Aaron Guile.
Absolutely. Royals Hall of Famer.
Batting second, the Rookie of the Year, shortstop, Angel Baroa.
He should be in the Royals Hall of Fame.
Batting third, the designated hitter, Mike Sweeney.
Okay.
Batting fourth in center field, Carlos Beltran.
Royals Hall of Famer.
Batting fifth.
Should be potential baseball Hall of Famer.
Potential baseball Hall of Famer. Batting fifth in left field, Raul Ibanez.
I don't think he should be in the Royals Hall of Fame, but he was very important.
Batting sixth at third base, Joe Randa.
Just an overall swell guy. I got his autograph one time when I was a kid. He signed it, the Joker.
Batting seventh, the second baseman, Desi Relaford.
He's in nobody's Hall of Fame.
Batting eighth, the first baseman, Ken Harvey.
He's in the Life Hall of Fame.
And batting ninth, behind the plate, Brent Maine.
That was a fun 2003 lineup. Who pitched that day?
By the way, today was the first day in Royals history Jose Lima took a loss in 03.
Hey, oh, man, this should be a holiday.
He went 4, giving up 6, having his ERA raised to 3.72. He was 7-0 before that.
Oh, man. Shout out to Lima and May and the other days we pray. An era. You just had to be there. Coming up on the other side, I will tell you by far and away the most positive thing to have happened during this weekend's Chiefs game. I'll tell you next. Keep it right here, so drive.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. All you need to do is pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then, visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards may vary. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Get ready, KC! August 23rd will not be your average Saturday. Harris, Kansas City is dropping $700 in free play every 7 minutes from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's dozens of winners all day long. And it all leads to the big one. At 10:01 p.m., one lucky guest will take home a jaw-dropping $70,000 in cash. That's over $140,000 in free play and cash flying out the door in just one day. Harris, Kansas City, where the cash keeps coming, and you could be our next winner. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Lending cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
It's not too late to enjoy your summer with a new or improved deck. Go to PowellExteriorsKC.com to schedule a consultation today. Get your free estimate now, and you could be enjoying your new deck or patio in a matter of weeks. You are one click away from your best summer ever.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Oh no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
My debit card.
their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Brad's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, where batteries are as low as $89.99. Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Brad is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the sound of happy. Hear that? That's the DQ chicken strip basket. Only $7.49 for a limited time. We're talking 4 100% white meat seasoned chicken strips served with fries, Texas toast, and DQ signature country gravy. Yeah, you heard that right. For crunch time and no time, it can only be the DQ chicken strip basket. Just $7.49 for a limited time. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
Hey there, cats and kittens. It's Brian from The Commercial Break, the mediocre comedy podcast where my best friend Chrissy and I attempt to make sense of the world. We talk about the absurd, the ridiculous, and the stuff no one asked for, like internet weirdos, pickup artists, and why everyone is obsessed with crystals and colonics. It's all got to stop. The show is free, it's frequent, and it's probably not for everyone. You can go to tcbpodcast.com, subscribe at youtube.com/The Commercial Break, or check out the show wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll see you on the next Commercial Break, and best to you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Juju Smith-Schuster from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
I know that you guys come to this show for television and movie recommendations. Now, I know that you guys are the target audience for this, but I'm here to tell you The Kingdom is really, really good. I've really enjoyed it so far. I watched the first 4 episodes of The Kingdom. I plan on finishing it later today. I love it. I don't watch the franchise. The franchise is just a little too, I don't know, corporate for me. It's not for me. I'm not the intended audience of the franchise, but I was very curious to get a behind the scenes look at the Chiefs and see how ESPN was going to handle this. And I'm telling you, as people who follow the Chiefs and watch the Chiefs on a day in, day out basis, The Kingdom gets a 2 thumbs up for me. I have really, really enjoyed it. So I just would encourage you guys to watch it. I was thinking about that hearing Juju Smith-Schuster's voice because they went over Juju's house for Thanksgiving. So it's just kind of cool to see, Chiefs players and how they celebrate Thanksgiving. I would highly, highly encourage you. If you have ESPN Plus or Disney Plus, I would highly encourage you to check out The Kingdom. I believe it's 6 one-hour episodes. So, if you got a little bit of free time, just be sure to check out The Kingdom as they are following the Chiefs last season as they were trying to win 3 championships in a row. All right, Rob, I want to give you a couple of stats, a couple of thoughts, a couple of opinions about the Kansas City Chiefs. Thought number 1 about the Kansas City Chiefs. I saw this tweet. Isaiah Pacheco reached 17 miles an hour on his lone touch on Friday's game. He reached that speed just 3 times once he came back from injury last year. You guys know my thought process on this. I don't believe that Isaiah Pacheco was ever healthy the second half of the season. I believe that Pacheco needed more time to heal and recover, but you want to get back out there on the field. You're seeing another guy kind of take your position. I understand why Isaiah Pacheco fought so hard to come back when he did, but I think it was pretty clear that Pacheco, he just wasn't the same violent runner that he was before. I understand to some degree. I disagree, but I understand the logic of why the Chiefs really are gambling that Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back this season. That's really what they're gambling on. I don't think you can go into the season very realistic that your 7th round pick in the 240s is going to be a major contributor this year. Elijah Mitchell has had just a very blah camp. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about Elijah Mitchell. He hasn't really done anything. He didn't look good this weekend in the preseason. I'm not really counting on Elijah Mitchell being a major contributor to the team. Maybe he ends up being that Jerick McKinnon, that third back that just is there for kind of catching the ball out of the backfield. Maybe that is what the plan is for Elijah Mitchell. I just don't expect him to get a whole lot of carries. He probably shouldn't get a whole lot of carries. At this point, we all know what Kareem Hunt is. I think the Chiefs are really planning on Isaiah Pacheco being Isaiah Pacheco. The biggest difference with their entire team, and this includes Josh Simmons, the biggest difference with the Chiefs is they are expecting to have a viable run game. The Chiefs did not have a viable run game at any point in the second half of the season. There was the early burst where Kareem was getting a bunch of carries and really high usage, and once that initial wave kind of fell off, and as he got more wear and tear and as the season progressed and he became less and less effective in a 1st and 10, 2nd and 8 situation and only really became viable in 3rd and 1 and 3rd and short scenarios, they didn't have any true run game the second half of the season. And that obviously has a great impact on your offense, especially when you factor in the injuries that they had at wide receiver and they had a lot of guys coming and going just based on injuries and who's healthy and who's available. A healthy Isaiah Pacheco transforms their offense. They don't have a chance, in my opinion, in being a top 10 offense without a healthy Isaiah Pacheco. Now, you need some guys to stay healthy at wide receiver. You need guys to take step forward at wide receiver. But more than anything, they are looking to, counting on, and expecting a healthy version of Isaiah Pacheco. And the same way I tell you guys with Hollywood that no news is good news, that I don't care how Hollywood is performing in training camp. I don't care how he's doing in preseason. Can you get him to the finish line? I feel the exact same way about Isaiah Pacheco. Coming up this weekend, this Friday, against the Chicago Bears, I'm giving Isaiah Pacheco maybe one carry. We know what you can do. You're healthy. You're ready to go. You hit top speed of 17 miles an hour. You didn't really do that the second half of the season. You did that on one carry. You need somebody that can get you a home run potentially on first down. You need somebody who can take a 1st and 10 and turn it into a 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2 situation. They didn't have that in the run game last year. I do think they can have that to kick off the season. I think Isaiah Pacheco, Rob, being healthy is the biggest difference in this team from last year at the end of the season when we saw them to potentially what they're going to look like coming up in a few weeks.
I think as much time as this show has spent talking about Hollywood Brown, his health, Rashee Rice, the wide receiver room, and as much as time as this show has spent talking about getting the offense back to explosive and those sorts of things, I think as much as I hate the run game, one of the reasons why the Chiefs offense looked like it was stuck in quicksand at times last year, which it was more than just, hey, they had some injuries at wideout. Hey, they had some issues at offensive line. It was all of it. And I feel like maybe the only show in the city willing to point out that Kareem Hunt was just okay last year. Maybe a little below okay as the season went on. He was just whatever. Is this show. And if they can get explosion at that position, any explosion at that position, they don't need 2017 Kareem Hunt. They just need 2022 Isaiah Pacheco. And if they can get that out of running back, then maybe you get a little explosion out of your run game. Now, because of that, there's a trickle-down effect. You get more explosion out of the pass, all these things. But I feel like every time this show talks about the offense, we end up in the same location. They were just blah last year, and they have to fix that across the board, and that includes Isaiah Pacheco. No one is asking, or at least I'm not, I don't believe you are, Isaiah Pacheco to be a 1,100-yard rusher. No one's asking to be Saquon Barkley. But in the Super Bowl season, 2022, when the Patrick Mahomes was the MVP and the offense was fun and exciting, Isaiah Pacheco was a rookie. He rushed for what, 900 yards as a mostly backup that season to Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Give me that version of the offense again. Give me that version of Isaiah Pacheco again. And on Mondays, when me and you are talking about Chiefs games, or I guess sometimes Fridays or Saturdays or sometimes Tuesdays, because the Chiefs play all the time. But whenever we dissect the game, if we get to talk about a team that looked like the 2022 team, I'm going to be excited, and that includes getting Isaiah Pacheco back to being a 900-yard type of guy, not the guy who battled injury, and not Kareem Hunt, who hit the ground running, but eventually stopped running at over 4 yards a carry and started running in cement.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, for whatever reason you hate Kareem Hunt, I really hope he has a chance to have a good year. I don't know why you guys just think that I dislike every player on the team. I don't have anything against Kareem Hunt. I think more than anything, I just kind of know and understand what Kareem Hunt is. He cannot be your number one running back. He can't be. He can't be your number one running back. I actually like Kareem Hunt this year for what they're asking him to be. What they're asking Kareem Hunt to be is a third down change of pace back. The final 8 games of the year, Kareem Hunt averaged 3.5 yards per carry and had 2 touchdowns. Again, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. We're talking about a 30-year-old running back that joined the team in the middle of the season. I think he is fine for what they're asking him to be. You brought him in on a 1-year deal. He's making $2 million. He's your backup running back. Oh, that's fine. My issue the whole time is I just want more pop. I want more sizzle. I want more explosiveness. That's a position where I know we talk about explosiveness in the past game. Like, you can get explosiveness from just turning around and handing the ball off too. And they didn't have that last year in the second half of the season. The numbers tell you they didn't have that last year. So I don't have anything against Kareem Hunt. I think he is being fine for what you're using him to be. If Kareem Hunt ends up being a guy that's getting double-digit carries for this team, something's just gone wrong this year. And you have another injury at running back, and you probably need to go outside the building to fill that void. If you're going to get the Isaiah Pacheco back that you're talking about, Rob, a guy that you think can get you somewhere between 12 to 16 carries and be a guy who in his career is averaging 4.5 yards per carry, you can live with that.
I feel like, and maybe it's just the way what we're saying hits people's ears, neither one of us dislike Kareem Hunt. We just never felt like Kareem Hunt was the answer. And the stats would tell you he was not the answer. He was fine against the Niners. And in the ensuing games after that, he was pretty good. But then he hit a wall. You can pull up his game log. I can do it. You can do it. Joe and Olathe, text line, you are welcome to do this exercise. Pull up his game logs. You can see when it started to turn. And he went from, wow, he gave the Chiefs really something at running back to he's a 30-something-year-old running back who looks like a 30-something-year-old running back. I think they are getting the most out of him. And the reason they brought him back is they feel like maybe limiting carries, limiting wear and tear, and using him properly, they can get back to that Niners game, getting the last juice, last squeeze of juice out of him before it's done. Because Trez Taylor always said running backs only have so many hits on their body, but somehow we've been painted as anti-Kareem Hunt because we don't think Kareem Hunt should get 205 carries because that's nonsensical. It's 2025.
Yeah, no, Kareem Hunt just isn't a guy that can get that usage. And that's why, get back to our main point, I'm really excited that we are in a standpoint where I think he's just going to be used correctly. Like last year, just to put it into perspective, I know injuries played a part of this. I mean, Kareem Hunt got as many carries as James Cook, Bucky Irving, and Devon Achane. That's not how you should be using Kareem Hunt in 2025. If that's not the plan for Kareem Hunt this year, then great. I don't have any problem with the Chiefs using Kareem Hunt on 3rd and 2, and he gets you 3-4 yards, and then you go back to Isaiah Pacheco or you go to one of the other young options. I don't got anything against them using Kareem Hunt, but I mean, him being he was 23rd in carries last year. That's just, if that ends up being the case in their run game this year, it's just not going to be very effective. I think we have enough evidence to suggest that being the case. I know that tight end is usually a position that you guys are very interested in. We don't got to talk about Travis Kelce, and we all know that he's making the team. Don't got to talk about Noah Gray. We also know that he's making the team. One person who I am now 100% convinced is making the team. And if you were going through and you were making your 53-man roster, it needs to include Robert Tonyan. Maybe I'm drinking the preseason Kool-Aid just a little bit too much. I actually think that Robert Tonyan can help them in the regular season. Like, we're talking about a guy who, I mean, he has a track record outside of Kansas City. We're talking about a guy who, now, I know it was a while ago, but, I mean, he had 586 yards with the Packers and had 11 touchdowns in the COVID season back in 2022, because you know my rule. If you did something before COVID, I don't care. In 2022, Robert Tonyan had 53 catches for 470 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, he also probably needs to be used sparingly. He's not going to be a red zone threat, not going to be one of those guys. But I absolutely trust Robert Tonyan on a 3rd down, a 2nd and 7 to go out there and be a capable tight end for Kansas City. You know what? Put me down for like 200 to 300 yards, somewhere in that range for Robert Tonyan. I think he can help this team. I think he has a role on this team. I think he has played his way onto the roster. I think there's a role for Robert Tonyan this year. I think he's a part of the squad.
Carrington, I haven't been doing this show for a long, long time, but I've been doing it long enough to know that this show doesn't like talking about tight end 3. It's something that we let the fans and the text line talk about, but we don't really lean into it because it doesn't matter. They don't run special 3 tight end sets that lead to super heavy success. They don't do this, that, or the tight end 3 is just preseason fodder. And yet here I stand, and you're telling me about Robert Tonyan can help this team? Robert Tonyan's better than Jared Wiley. And Robert Tonyan will probably get some snaps. But you know what Robert Tonyan is? He's Sean McGrath. He's just a fan favorite.
No, we're not doing that.
He's just a fan favorite preseason player.
No,
who, when
I think he's much better than Sean McGrath.
Is not. When the rubber meets the road, it's 3rd and 7, and he checks in. You're going to be like, wow, what a good play we got coming. Or you're going to be like, uh-oh, why is he in the game?
Let me ask you a question. You know, I'll give you a hot take here. I think Robert Tonyan has more yards this year than Jalen Royals does. I'll give you that take right now.
So that means Noah Gray has more than both of them, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, if you're asking me right now who gets more yards this season receiving, Robert Tonyan or Jalen Royals, I'll take Robert Tonyan. I think there's a clear role for him on the team. I really do. And, you know, I think you and I both have the same feeling that they should just use Travis Kelce less in week 4 and week 5. And that way, if you were telling me that we go from Kelsey getting 90% of the snaps, Kelsey now coming back to getting 65 and 70, and your number one goal is to keep Travis Kelsey as healthy and upright until you get to the games important in the season, then sign me up for Robert Tonyan being the established veteran that takes some of those opportunities away. You get Noah Gray more involved. You get him more on the field. You get Robert Tonyan in, and he can help you in some blocking situations, can help you in some play action situations, and a lot of those little shovel plays that they run. I think there's a role for Robert Tonyan this year. I really do. If right now, sign me up. I think he's going to get somewhere between 200 and 300 yards. I think he will be a part of their offense. I think he will contribute. I think it will be noticeable that they use Robert Tonyan this season.
So whose yards is he? I mean, is he taking Travis Kelsey's yards? Because I'm looking at the 2022 offense. That's the offense at least I keep using as, hey, I want the offense to get back to what it looked like in 2022. Because we can pull up last year's offense like, oh, he's going to get what so-and-so got. Neither one of us think last year's offense was something to write home about. I'm looking at their receiving leaders from that season. Obviously, he's not going to be in the Kelsey, Juju, MVS range.
Nowhere near there.
You think that year, 2022, Jody Fortson had 108. You think he's going to have more than 108? That year, Kadarius Toney, these are not names people think highly of, had 171. You think basically what Robert Tonyan is what Kadarius Toney was for the 2022 team. You think he's Sky Moore? Sky Moore in 2022, despite all his flaws as a receiver, and we'll get to Sky Moore, had 250 yards. You basically think Robert Tonyan is wide receiver 4 type of energy from 2022.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. I think Robert Tonyan is somewhere in this range. I'm looking at it that year. Justin Watson got 34 targets. Noah Gray got 34 targets. Sky Moore got 33 targets. Yeah, that feels about right to me for Robert Tonyan. He's a guy that gets 25 to 35 targets, somewhere in that range. And I think he is fine. I think he is serviceable with those targets. You can sign me up for that production for Robert Tonyan. I think he's earned it. I think he has earned his right to be on this team. I think he has earned some opportunities once the game matters of getting a chance to run with the ones. I do think that's happened.
I think he's definitely earned opportunity, and I think he'll definitely make the roster. I just think we have to – I think your context is correct, but I think sometimes with tight end 3, maybe more than any other city in America, people go bananas for tight end 3 in Kansas City. So as long as we frame it correctly, and Robert Tonyan is a 150 to 250-yard guy for the Chiefs, then yes, I think he has value. But I think it's also possible, we look back at that 2022 team, Noah Gray's going to have more yards than we think because we both think they're going to, load manage Travis Kelsey. And Noah Gray has shown that he is a more capable tight end. So Noah Gray might be getting a larger yardage than we think Robert Tonyan. But I do think he's a lock. If you're doing a exercise at home in the 53, put his name in Sharpie, as Seth Davis always says.
Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, I think they're using Tonyan as a trade piece. He's 31. Trade him for a 6th-round pick and be happy. Ain't nobody giving you a draft pick for Robert Tonyan. Like, ain't nobody giving you a draft pick. He didn't play last year in the NFL. He had 117 yards the last season that he did play. Robert Tonyan ain't getting you back no value in the trade market. I just keep him. I'm sorry. Nobody's giving you a future 6th-round pick for the Chiefs' 3rd round for their 3rd tight end who's 31 years old. You're not getting anything for him. And I don't think you need to trade him. Like, somebody has to make the team. I think he's just going to make the team. I think he's going to be one of those guys. I'm looking forward to him this year on the team. We'll get back to the Royals coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. Vern earlier today, he was on Fesco and Dusty, and he said that the Royals are going to need a better version of Seth Lugo if they really want to make a run in this thing and trying to make the postseason. That is without question.
Conversations with Matt Quatrero when they dive into the data, the pitch data for Seth Lugo, there's nothing that screams this is a fatigued 36-year-old. So if they're not going to take any of those easy excuses, I'm not going to continue to give it to them. So bottom line, Seth Lugo needs to pitch better. He's disappointed in the second half. He knows it better than anybody, and he needs to earn that contract here down the final, 7-8 starts that he makes.
I mean, it definitely hasn't been good. I mean, these last 2 starts for Seth Lugo, I mean, they've been bad. Like, there's really no other way to put it. It's been real bad for Seth Lugo. I mean, his last 3 starts, Seth Lugo has a 10.66 ERA. He has given up 15 earned runs in his last 2 2/3. That's me even being generous. I'm not even including some other starts. I'm just going off the last 3. I don't think this is obviously Seth Lugo. I think the timing really stands out that they just gave him the contract and then everything is just really blown up kind of in their face since then. I'm not going to be overly concerned about Seth Lugo. I'm going to listen to Vern here. The Royals are telling us it's not a fatigue thing. It's not an injury thing. He's just going through a little bit of a slump. Players are allowed to go through a bit of a slump. We'll see what that looks like for the Royals as they continue going, and he's going to pitch in this series against the Texas Rangers. So we'll keep an eye on this. Coming up on the other side, one of the most ridiculous ideas that I have ever heard was proposed. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
For the first time in a long time, I'm willing to dream that this can be a special season for the Missouri Tigers.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Ready for your dream Las Vegas vacation? Enter BetMGM's Your Legendary Vegas Getaway, and you'll have the chance to win a customizable Las Vegas experience. It's easy to enter. Just sign up for a BetMGM account and download the app or log in with your existing account. Then place your bets on your favorite sports to earn up to 25 entries. You could win a trip to Vegas that includes an MGM Grand Stay, travel accommodations, resort credit, and your chance at an exclusive sports, entertainment, or club experience. Score the Las Vegas trip of your dreams by entering BetMGM's Your Legendary Vegas Getaway, and you could be on your way to your perfect Vegas vacation. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please make sure to read our full terms and conditions before participating in this promotion. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Chiefs Kingdom, are we ready to play? It's time for the Chiefs Kingdom scratch ticket, only from the Kansas Lottery. You could win up to $75,000 instantly, with even more ways to win exclusive, one-of-a-kind Kansas City Chiefs experiences through the Play On app. Play the Kansas Lottery Chiefs Kingdom scratch ticket today. See kslottery.com for details.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be, and if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Heartland Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an enhanced sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T-test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropo's Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropo's, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropo's for dinner. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with AutoPay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This afternoon, expect a high of 96 with a possibility of rain showers and thunderstorms.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Rob, I got to ask you an important question. This might be the most important question I ask you today. Have you seen the video circulating of Jamie Lee Curtis as she's promoting Freakier Friday, the movie with her and Lindsay Lohan?
I haven't seen the video, but I've seen the internet's reaction to the video.
Did you know? Because I was unaware. I'm asking, did you know?
I'm not a kid of the 80s. I feel like you got to ask people of the 80s. People in the 80s seem like they knew.
Did you know?
I was born in 91. I had no idea.
I learned something this weekend about Jamie Lee Curtis that I didn't know before. Had absolutely no clue. Was stunned to find out this information. Flabbergasted to find out this information. I just want to share that with you. For those of you that know what we're talking about, then you know, but I didn't know. And it doesn't sound like, Rob, you knew when it came to Jamie Lee Curtis. That's not a movie that I would see in the theater. I don't know why that movie wasn't sent directly to Disney+. You're going to see that movie in theaters in 2025? No chance.
Who asked for a sequel to that movie?
I don't mind a sequel to it. That's just not...
15 years later? Too much time has passed.
Yeah, I mean, that's a movie that movie's got to be directly to Netflix. That's not a movie that I'm going to the movie theater to go see. I can't believe that people thought that was a good idea, but good luck to them. Good luck to both of them, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. The Big Ten is proposing, honestly, I'm not even joking, quite possibly, this could be the worst idea that I've ever heard. They are going to expand the college football playoff. I don't know how many teams it will jump to, but even though we didn't really see a very competitive 12-team playoff, they now think that we need to add more teams to the college football playoff. I told you guys this when it first happened. Everybody laughed at me. Like, oh, I told you guys. The only reason that they are thinking about expanding the college football playoff is because kids told us they didn't want to play in these bowl games anymore. Bowl games have become less and less valuable. The only way to make bowl games valuable again is to rope them into the playoff. Therefore, kids have to play. That's the only reason why we are doing this. There are not 24 or 28 teams that are worthy of competing for the college football national championship. Now, I don't think we're going to get to 24 or 28, but it's even ridiculous that we would even be having this conversation. It makes me so mad and so frustrated that the people that run college sports just don't seem to like college sports. And I will say, if I could stand up on my soapbox for just a bit, I mean, we have spent our whole lives as millennials being told how bad participation trophies are and how soft our generation is. And now the old folks, they want to create a college football playoff in which 28 teams could be a part of. You know when college football was at its best? When you had to win all of your games. There would never, in the history of college football, ever had been a system in which Ohio State could have lost to that Michigan team in the final regular season game and it not matter? They still got a home game in the college football playoff after losing to that sorry Michigan team that didn't make a bowl game last year. How? But that's the college football that we got. I'm trying to love it. I'm trying to embrace it. According to this, for example, this is from Pete Thamel, in the 2018 model, the Big Ten and SEC would each get 7 automatic bids, while the ACC and the Big 12 would each receive 5 teams. There ain't 5 teams in the ACC that should be in anybody's college football playoff. There certainly isn't in the Big 12. That would have included Colorado last year. In what world would Colorado, were they good enough to be in the college football playoff? What are we doing here? There would then be 2 auto bids for the non-Power 4 conference teams and then 2 at-large teams. You know what this is? This is to try to make everybody happy. Well, the Big Ten has added so many teams and the SEC has added so many teams. I mean, Oklahoma and Texas, you could have been in a league that had an automatic qualifier for it. You would have been the favorite most years to get the automatic qualifier, but no, you wanted to go see if the grass was greener on the other side. Now that you realize you've signed up to be the 7th best team in the SEC, you're now trying to figure out a way to still make the playoffs. No, get better. That's the solution. In the Big Ten, you're trying to make USC and Oregon and Washington and all these schools happy, so the team that comes in 6th place, they want to be included in the playoff. No, win more games. 5 teams in the ACC. I don't even think I can name 5 teams in the ACC. Who's in that league now? Cal is in the ACC. To let you know how screwed up college sports are, California is in the Atlantic Coast Conference. It's all stupid. It's all a waste of everybody's time. The Big Ten, they are considering an idea for massive playoff expansion that the postseason would grow from 24 to 28 teams. Sources tell ESPN, I want them to quickly know that we don't want this. Return to sender. Please keep this away from me. I mean, I think 12 is too many teams, but they're about to go. They're for sure going to 16. There's no question in my mind they are going to expand the college football playoff at least one more time. And then we'll complain about the team and we'll feel bad for the 17th best team in college football. The 17th best team in college football used to just go to the Holiday Bowl. Now we got to figure out a way to get them in the college football playoff. Rob, I hate it. It makes me sick.
This is legitimately one of the worst ideas I've ever heard. Kudos to you for reading all the particulars about the Big Ten's bad plan to get bad teams in the college football playoff. I saw Pete Thamel's tweet over the weekend say 24-28. I stopped reading. It's so stupid. It's just the dumbest thing ever. I would have been fine with 8. I wanted more than 4. 8 seemed like a fair number. We're going to end up at 12 or 16. 16 is probably the destination. I'm fine with 16. Why on earth are we going to 24? Why? This is like, now, credit to the powers that be for keeping the NCAA tournament at 68. But there's a lot of momentum for that thing to push to 76, which no one wants that either. Why? Why are we? I mean, I know the answer. The answer is money. Spare me the money answer. But it's so bad for college sports. Like, we really need to have a world where BYU would have been a top 24 team last year. And I thought BYU had a nice season. They went 10-2, won a bowl game. Good for BYU. They did not deserve a chance to win the national championship game. I'm sorry, they didn't. Tough break, you lose. That's just the nature of the beast.
Someone on the text line says every other division of college football has more teams of them. Get rid of the bowl games. Maybe I'm wrong. We had a system in college football in place for a really long time that has helped it be the second most popular sport in America. That's what college football is. It is the second most popular sport in America. And I might complain at times about the NFL. Like, it's still kind of the same. It's the same. It ain't that different. Honestly, it ain't that different. I don't know why we've drastically changed conferences, divisions, how the postseason is structured. Just radical changes in college football. And you know what? I don't know why we need to do that. I really don't. I don't know why we need to do that. It was fine. It was perfectly fine, just the way that it was. Maybe it did need a little bit of tweak, if you want to say that. I mean, it could always improve, but 28 teams in the college football playoff. Really quickly, we'll get back to local. Have you guys seen this video of this Seattle Mariners outfielder in his rehab start? Have you seen this video, Rob?
The one where he hucks the bat at the guy?
Everything. I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny. The pitcher clearly didn't mean to do it. And he's so mad, and he just picks up the bat, and he just hurls it at him. I mean, I've never had anybody throw a fastball at me, so I can't say how I would respond in that situation. I can't say how I would respond. If you throw a fastball high and tight and it hits me at 95 miles an hour and this thing could have done very serious damage, yeah, I'm with you. But whatever happened to just running to the mound and just being ready to fight? That's what they used to do, right? Hey, you hit me with the baseball. I don't like it. I'm going to charge the mound, and it's time for fisticuffs. He threw the bat. This is the craziest thing I've seen in minor league baseball since, you remember that time where the batter kicked the catcher? He just turned around and drop kicked the catcher. This is a wild video if you haven't seen it. Victor Robles, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. He was ejected from a AAA game where he got hit with the fastball high and tight, and then he just, javelin spears throws the bat at the pitcher. What happened? I've only seen that. Was this not a benches clearing brawl? Like, we gotta have fisticuffs after this, right? You gotta have fisticuffs. We gotta run up here and we gotta fight after this scenario. You threw a bat at my pitcher. Coming up at the top of the hour, we have the offensive numbers for the Royals since the All-Star break. You know what? They have been very good offensively since the All-Star break. We'll tell you. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison, your home for the best food takes in KC.
Regular old American nachos. I don't need jalapenos with mine, just chips, cheese.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
It is out of here.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the seventh inning stretch of a televised baseball game,
We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate or BPH could be the cause, and Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Football is back, Labor Day is around the corner, and Hy-Vee is ready for fall. Stock up on all your fall favorites during the gigantic 3-day sale this Friday through Sunday. Invite your friends and fire up the grill with Bar S Franks just 98 cents a pack, Doritos chips just $2.99, Pepsi 24-pack cans for $10.99, and Brew Pub Pizza just $4.99 each. Let's go, you fans of fall. Rush to the gigantic 3-day sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee. If you're crazy for craft beer, a connoisseur of Cabernet, or master of the margarita, Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits has a huge selection in stock and competitively priced. From value bottles of wine starting at $3.99 to top shelf liquors, get 10% off when you mix and match 6 or more bottles. Hy-Vee's knowledgeable and friendly staff is here to help, or place your order through aisles online for added convenience. Low price, selection, service, and convenience. There's more to love at Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits.
When we're young, we take things for granted, like getting out of bed or even walking downstairs. But as we age, our knees and back and hips may start to prevent us from doing those normal everyday activities. And in the back of our minds, we're thinking, hey, this pain's going to go away. But nothing changes. It's time to call and schedule that free consultation with the medical pros at QC Kinetics. There are thousands of patients who will tell you they wish they would have done it sooner. They turned around their lives with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that work with your body to help restore and repair that damaged joint tissue. Natural cellular therapies. No scalpels, no pills, just long-term relief with no dreaded recovery. So bring your x-rays and MRIs to QC Kinetics for a free no-pressure chat and through evaluation to see if you're a good candidate. Grab the phone right now and give them a call. Appointments available on Saturday, 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone.
At Metal by the Foot, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality metal to meet your exact needs. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs From voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery. So he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents the sound of happy. Hear that? That's the DQ chicken strip basket. Only $7.49 for a limited time. We're talking 4 100% white meat seasoned chicken strips served with fries, Texas toast, and DQ signature country gravy. Yeah, you heard that right. For crunch time in no time, it can only be the DQ chicken strip basket. Just $7.49 for a limited time. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good at participating locations.
This sports report is brought to you by Bet365.
This hour's sports report is brought to you by Bet365. Bet365 is officially live in the Sunflower State. Right now, new Bet365 customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Download the app today and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus in partnership with Kansas Star Casino.
Tune in Saturday, August 23rd for K-State and Iowa State, live from Dublin, with pregame starting at 9, kickoff at 11 on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right. I'm going to give you guys some stats, some numbers regarding the Kansas City Royals. The Royals offense, let me tell you, it's actually been kind of good. It's been very good. If the Royals had been doing this offensively since the very beginning of the season, we'd be having some very different conversations about the Royals. Now, maybe it's always been there, but it just took a little bit of time. What they say about baseball, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Well, it's time to start sprinting. There's not a whole lot of time left. It's the middle of August. But you know what? Since the All-Star break, that was July 18th, the Royals are averaging 5.29 runs per game. They are 16-11 since the All-Star break, so they have played over 500 baseball, which now gives them a chance, potentially, in the second half of the season. Vinny Pasquantino has been on fire since this date. He has 7 home runs and 24 RBIs in the last month. Salvador Perez, he has 9 home runs and 16 RBIs during this time frame. Bobby Witt Jr., he has an OPS of 806, 3 home runs and 13 RBIs with 6 doubles during this time frame. If the Royals were ever going to do something, it was going to be powered by your big 3/big 4. Jonathan India had a big hit this weekend in the series as well. Maikel Garcia played at an all-star level. If the Royals are going to do this thing, it's going to be because Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez, and Bobby Witt Jr. all get hot and stay hot all at the same time, and they've been that way the second half of the season. Now, we'll see if it can continue. The schedule is going to get a little bit more difficult than it's been the last 10 days or so, but at this point, it doesn't matter. You are at a race to 86 wins. I don't care who those 86 wins are against. You just got to figure out a way to get somewhere to 86 wins, I think, to realistically give yourself a chance to make the postseason. The pitching, for the most part, has been pretty consistent this year. Their offense has not been consistent, but it doesn't matter what your offense was like in April or May. It matters what your offense is right now. And, Rob, if you look at the numbers, their offense has been pretty good, and their offense has been something that you've been able to rely on for the last month for the Royals.
I feel like, and this was a thing we did in, April, May, June. We just kept saying over and over again, if the Royals offense can get hot, watch out. This offense can be, better, can be above league average. They got the pitching. Watch out if the offense, and I just felt like it was like Groundhog Day. We kept having that conversation. Well, since the team got back from the All-Star break, the offense has been doing exactly what we've been begging the offense to do. And it's not a coincidence to me. The Royals went from a team that was sub 500, 3-4 games under, and a team that people thought they need to be an obvious seller, no doubt, no reason to buy, the season is lost, to a team that on August 18th is legitimately in a wild card race. Not only are they 4 back the third wild card, they're only 4.5 back of the first wild card. And You can squint, you can dream a little bit, and you know how this show loves the odds and percentages. Baseball Reference has them at 16% to make the playoffs, and Fangraphs has them at a little over 12%, in between 12 and 13% to make the playoffs. Not great odds, but the offense coming to life has given them at least some chance to do it, and I am now open to having a conversation about them pushing forward and doing it, and those stats indicate what we've been talking about all year. If they can just get Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny going, well, now they got all three going. There is no reason they can't at least give a push all the way to the final weekend of the baseball season.
Let's transition. Let's talk a little Chiefs in this segment as well. I want to play for you what Andy Reid had to say. Here he is talking about the dynamic of the left side of the offensive line for the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, they've been working double time on that, so we'll see how it goes with the game part of it and that. But then, talking through everything, they're going to see some new things for both of them, and how they handle that. We'll see how it goes when we get there.
So that was Andy Reid as he met with the media yesterday, just talking about the dynamic of the left side of the offensive line. I want to ask you guys this question, 913-586-7965. On a scale from 1 to 10, how worried are you about the left side of the offensive line? 0 is not worried at all. 10 is code red. We need to make massive sweeping changes. How worried are you on a scale from 1 to 10? Because I think most people would agree. Heading into this season, they just don't have many question marks. Their team is largely the same except for a couple of spots. The left side of the offensive line is one of the few places on the team that is just different from the last time that we saw the Chiefs play. You have Josh Simmons, a player that you obviously really like, a player that you're obviously very high on, and then you got a guy in Kingsley Suamataia, let's just call it what it is, who has been very up and down so far in his career. He has shown you an ability to be able to play interior offensive line and be a starter in the league. He's also shown you reasons of, hey, maybe this guy shouldn't be on the field. Rob, on a scale from 1 to 10, where are you at with the Chiefs and their left side of their offensive line? If you were asking me today, I'd put it at a 4.5. I'm not super worried about it. I'm not worried about it, A, because I think Simmons is going to be more than capable this year. I don't know if we're talking about him being a Pro Bowl caliber player, but is he going to be a positive starter for you? Is he going to be considered to be an upgrade over what you had last year and a player that is going to grow as the season progresses? Yes. Why I'm also not super worried about the left side of the offensive line is they have an emergency plan. If something doesn't go right with Kingsley Suamataia, we all know what the plan is. And I think the Chiefs have shown you they are not going to go with a bad plan for very long. If this plan is not working midway in the Eagles game or midway in between the game against the Giants with those pass rushers, they will not hesitate to sit somebody on the bench. We've seen them do that before with other starters, not just with Kingsley. Whenever Jawan Taylor is having his offensive line holding false start, why don't you come sit down for a little bit and just get a reset? Why don't you sit down for the next 4 or 5 plays? We're going to put you back in there. Why don't you go over there and get some water and be ready to go out there for the next series? When you got a guy like Jalen Moore, who you're paying $21 million to guaranteed for this upcoming season, you will not hesitate if need be, if something goes wrong, to go out there and make a change, whether it's at left tackle with Josh Simmons or whether it's at left guard with Kingsley Suamataia. So I'm going to put my worry at a 4, 4.5. A, because I feel good about Josh Simmons, and I also feel like if we feel Kingsley becomes a problem at any point in those first 4 games, I think they will just happily move on to Jalen Moore and not look back the same way that they did last year. And this year, they got better secondary options than they had last season.
I think 3.5 to 4 is probably my number. I think it is impossible before we ever see a live rep. I don't care about the preseason. I really don't. I know the PFF grades and what they mean. And man, Kingsley was a road grader at run blocker, but struggled in pass blocking. And, depending on what blogger or person you read or watch for Josh Simmons in the first game, he was the big star. Until you see it in live action, I think it is impossible to have any level of worry beyond just I'm neutral and it's inexperience. That's why it's 3.5 to 4 to me is Kingsley's taken one game, albeit a game that didn't really count against the Broncos, of left guard in his NFL career, and Josh Simmons has played no games at left tackle in his NFL career. So I have a level of concern due to just pure inexperience, but I've never seen them play a real team in a real game that counts. At this time last year, you probably would have been like, wow, the Chiefs might have their left tackle in Kingsley. It was half a month later, and you were like, no, they don't. So I think 3.5 to 4.5, somewhere in that window, is really the only acceptable answer because we just don't know. Preseason is what preseason is. It's a dress rehearsal. It's half speed. It is hard to say, oh, they're doing this here, so it will translate or won't. 3.5 to 4.5 is my number.
Yeah, I'm looking at the text line right now, and I don't think there's a lot of worry right now. I really don't think there's reason to be super worried about this. Someone on the text line says, I'm at a 5 right now. If they face a decent to good D-line, then they may be beaten. I'm here to tell you that they play 4 of those in the first 4 games of the season. Like, you're going up against teams that have legitimate pass rushers early on in the season. Like, I mean, the Giants, they just spent a top 3 pick on a defensive lineman. Like, the Giants might have one of the 3 best D-lines in the NFL. You play Philadelphia's defensive line. I don't got to tell you about the dogs when it comes to that defensive line. And if there's any team in the National Football League that should know how good the Philadelphia defensive line is, it's Kansas City. And then you got Baltimore at the end of the season. So I will say when it comes to Kingsley, you will get an early season test as quickly as this season begins. There is no easing into this thing where you play a couple of the weaker defenses and then you kind of work your way up to it. No. So I'm with you. It's preseason football. You're right, Rob. I don't want to overreact to preseason football, but I do think that Kingsley is a question. I mean, he played 6 quarters last year and they were like, no, we're never doing this again. The Chiefs, they rather last year had moved Joe Thuney to left tackle instead of keeping him at left guard than giving Kingsley a second opportunity later in the season. So they've already shown you like, all right, but that's one thing. It's one thing to trust the player at left tackle. Now we're talking about left guard where you got help on your left and your right side. But they have at least shown me, hey, they are not giving Kingsley the benefit of the doubt, and they will not hesitate to remove him if they got a question. And last year, we all were trying to wonder, well, who would that replacement be? This year, we have a clear, set answer on who that replacement is going to be. It's going to be Jalen Moore. I mean, you liked Jalen Moore enough at one point to give him $20-something million guaranteed. Now he's going to be your break in case of emergency, or he is your in case Kingsley doesn't work out emergency. Keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan and also the Odyssey app. We'll keep talking Chiefs here, getting you ready for the start of the season. Keep it locked in right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Watch the show on YouTube by subscribing to the 965 YouTube channel. The Drive, brought to you by DM Entry Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Entry Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. 96.5 The Fan.
Want to see the 2015 World Champion Royals swing it again? Come out to Home Run Derby X at Kauffman Stadium for a reunion on September 13th. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, Ben Zobrist, and Lorenzo Cain take their cuts against reps from the Blue Jays and the Mets. Come join the action for a night of massive dingers, slick defense, and target-smashing thrill. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MLB.com/HRDXKC. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
Get ready, KC. August 23rd will not be your average Saturday. Harris, Kansas City is dropping $700 in free play every 7 minutes from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's dozens of winners all day long. And it all leads to the big one. At 10:01 p.m., one lucky guest will take home a jaw-dropping $70,000 in cash. That's over $140,000 in free play and cash flying out the door in just one day. Harris, Kansas City, where the cash keeps coming, and you could be our next winner. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
GiveMeTheVin.com's big cash giveaway. I hate games and scams. So when we had the idea to give away $25,000, I was very careful about the way it was orchestrated. Get the top of the market money and enter to be the lucky person to get $25,000. This is no joke. This is no game. This is very real. Just like GiveMeTheVin.com.
No purchase necessary. For official rules, go to GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth. Why not start today?
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of select Mobil 1 synthetic motor oil in-store or online.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
And a stall near Raytown slowing you down 435 southbound just past 350 highway. It is the right lane blocked. Kansas side of things 635 southbound at State Avenue, stall in the right lane. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center in Val, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, this is Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Tuesday with CDOT at 3:15, right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
All right, let's get back to the Chiefs. Let's keep the Chiefs conversation going. 913-586-7965. I'm in a football talking mood today. You want to know how good the Chiefs have been? And maybe more specifically for this topic, how good Brett Veach has been? It is quite possible that Felix Anudike-Uzomah is one of the biggest busts in the history of the organization. Like, quite literally, one of the worst draft picks that they have ever made. He is a player that a lot of people feel like he was only drafted because of where he grew up, was only drafted because of where the draft was. Like, a lot of people have these opinions about him, about the selection, about the pick, about all of it. Nobody cares. And I'm not even telling you that you should care. I'm just saying is they have had so much success. They have built up so much benefit of the doubt. They have been so good that they essentially threw away a first-round pick on a player who will have 3 sacks in his first 3 seasons in the National Football League and has made 3 starts, and everybody is like, that's okay. They'll be fine. That's not the case for every franchise in the National Football League. Now, call me a conspiracy theorist, but I got some suspicions. If they really thought that FAU could help them this year, they would basically make him ineligible for the entire season in mid-August. Something tells me if Mike Dana had the same injury that they're telling me that Felix has, they would be playing this a little bit differently, right? Like, they'd be playing this like a, hey, we really value you, we appreciate you, we think you'll be back at some point, so we're going to leave it open that you can come back. I mean, they left it open until late December for Hollywood Brown last year. Hollywood Brown didn't come back until around Christmas time. They waited and waited and waited till the last possible second to try to give him a chance to get back on the field and potentially help them in the postseason. They've already eliminated that possibility with Felix. This feels like a Tyler Bray situation. You cannot have been counting on him. Are we 100% certain that he was going to make the team? I'm asking that honestly. Are we sitting here 100% certain that Felix was going to make the team this year? Because for them to make this decision, now, I don't know how severe the hamstring injury is. Did he tear it? There's no chance that Felix could come back in the next 5 months and help this team? That's how significant this injury was? You're not ready to see. Maybe he can come back in October. Maybe he can come back in November. You've already made the decision. He's on IR. He's done for the entire season. This is not big news, which is crazy for a team that spent a first-round pick on a pass rusher. But I don't get a sense that nobody cares. We didn't lead the show with it. We didn't talk about it for the first 90 minutes of the show. I don't know how big of a deal it is. I mean, they're still fine. We all know they're still going to be fine. This is just a bump in the road, a very small bump in the road, but they had a first-round pick. You easily could have traded back. You easily could have done something different. Like, Rob, we can take a look at the players who were drafted around Felix Onyeudike. Like, you had a chance to get something from this. You could have got Sam Laporta. Like, they just nobody cares. It's not that big of a deal. Hey, it's going to happen. Sometimes you're going to miss picks in the draft. That's where we are with Felix. I don't think there's ever been a first-round pick we've had like this. Like, people didn't treat Clyde Edwards-Helaire like this. Like, some of you, dislike Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like, I get it. Hey, we thought he was going to be good. He turned out not being good. We use Breland Speaks as a joke. What makes Felix any different? In fact, Breland Speaks, he might have been better, honestly, than what we got from Felix Onyeudike. Like, Felix only has 1 full sack more than what Breland Speaks got in his NFL career. And that was just and he's played 2 seasons for the Chiefs. This is a Breland Speaks level miss, and it does not register at all for this team.
Is one of the reasons, and I'm not diminishing that it's been a miss, is one of the reasons that fans don't seem to care about it being a miss and the fact he's going to miss the whole season because they spent the offseason basically telling you that without telling you that? Like, if you have a first-round pick at edge rusher and you drafted him in, 2023, and you thought, okay, he's going into year 3, he's going to be a thing, you wouldn't then re-sign Charles Minahu. You wouldn't do that. You would have moved on. You wouldn't draft.
That was the plan originally.
You wouldn't draft another edge rusher in the 3rd round. Or maybe Gelati was the 2nd-round pick. I forgot. Norman Lott and Gelati were right there back-to-back. Gelati was the 3rd. Now I think about it. You wouldn't do that if you had a productive first-round pick. You probably aren't extending Mike Dana if Felix Onyeudike-Uzomah is a productive first-round pick. Like, is part of the reason that fans are not, caring about the level of miss that FAU is and they're very ho-hum about it is because the Chiefs, by their actions, spent all offseason acknowledging, we missed, so we're preparing for life as if he's not on the roster, and now we're just going to have that life come to fruition with him being in the IR and missing the entire 2025 season, or we presume he'll miss the entire season.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, someone on the text line says, CDOT, he's not even close to a John Baldwin level. He is John Baldwin. Like, that's what I'm telling you. He is John Baldwin. John Baldwin played 2 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs. He had 41 catches for 579 yards and 2 touchdowns. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who is now out for his third season of the National Football League, that is confirmed. He cannot come back this season. In 2 seasons for the Kansas City Chiefs, he has 40 tackles and 3 sacks. He is John Baldwin, is what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that he has been so good that it doesn't matter that he is John Baldwin. Like, they have been so good as an organization, you guys don't care. Not even a little bit do you guys care. It doesn't matter. I mean, it'd be great if it had worked. It'd have been great if it had hit. It'd have been great if he'd have been a good pass rusher. They've been to 2 Super Bowls despite basically giving away one of their first-round picks. And at least in their first year, they acknowledged they were giving it away. Hey, you know what? I mean, we're so good as a team, we don't even need to make a first-round pick. We're going to put this guy on ice. Felix didn't start at all his first season. Had a half sack his first year. He had less than 15 tackles his first year. Chiefs won the Super Bowl. It didn't matter. No, he is John Baldwin. He is Sylvester Morris. All of those Chiefs players that you remember, that's exactly what he is. He will not be remembered that way at all, but that is 100% who he's turned out to be. Someone on the text line said that was just a bad draft. I guess. Now I know that he wasn't on the board. I'm looking at Philadelphia got Nolan Smith 1 pick before the Chiefs did. Nolan Smith would be one of the 3 best defensive players they had if they had him on their team. He's phenomenal. Joey Porter Jr. was the pick right after Felix Anudike. Sam Laporta was 2 picks later. We're having a very different offensive conversation about Kansas City if they had drafted Sam Laporta with the 31st overall pick. They would have had, they'd have had the tight end position figured out for the next decade if they had drafted Sam Laporta. They had a chance to go in a different direction. Brian Branch was drafted a handful of picks later. He's turned out to be a very, very good player for the Detroit Lions. Now, again, you can play the what-if game, shoulda, coulda, woulda. They made the decision to draft Felix Anudike. They definitely had a choice to get good players around where they got Felix. They just missed.
Let me ask you a question. If we're going to go down this path, let's have this conversation. Because I know there's a sentiment on the text line that, well, the only reason this pick happened is because Clark Hunt wanted his moment. And there is a cut. I can find it. I can pull it. Where essentially Nate Taylor was on the show and he said the same thing. For a fan base that, is tough on their team, and understandably so, why are we giving a pass to not just Brett Veach, but the fact that the general sentiment is the owner meddled in the draft process, said, I want to make a pick here. They made a pick and it's a bust. Why aren't fans a little harder on Clark Hunt for, preferring his moment in the sun, if that's the thought process of what happened, over getting the pick right? Because I think with revisionist history, every fan would say the Chiefs should have traded back. If that draft was in, anywhere else, Seattle, if the draft was in Minnesota, if the draft was at Lambeau, the Chiefs are trading back. But everyone's like, no, Clark had to have his moment. If the reason Anudike-Uzomah is on the roster, and he's officially now on the IR, it just came across the wire, if the reason he's on the roster is for Clark Hunt to have his moment in the sun, why aren't fans mad that the owner meddled for his moment over the betterment of the roster?
Because they win. That's just the answer. You get to make different rules when you win as often as the Chiefs do. I think that's the answer to your question. Keeping it with the draft theme, I think we have one more game of seeing Sky Moore in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. I think we have one more game. This weekend, if you plan on going out to Arrowhead and you plan on doing the double dip where you get a chance to watch KU and you get a chance to go to the Chiefs game, Rob, you might end up doing that. You might end up doing the double dip, little Friday Arrowhead, little Saturday going to the booth. You might end up doing that. I'm telling you right now that you better say your goodbyes to Sky Moore because he ain't coming back. It just isn't going to happen for Sky Moore. I know he had a punt return for a touchdown. It is in everybody's best interest if Sky Moore just goes to play for another team. It just didn't work here. And sometimes that's life. I don't know what team he's going to go to. I certainly hope that it works out for him. I don't have any reason to root against him. He never did anything wrong. But I'm telling you, on this team, I don't know how you can keep Sky Moore around. I don't trust him to do anything. I don't trust him to do anything. You can't trust it to throw it to him. I don't trust him on special teams. You getting a punt return touchdown late in the third quarter it just doesn't do anything for me. I'm sorry. We've done this long enough with you, Sky Moore. I think that he has one more week with the Chiefs. So if I was him, I would try to go get all the autographs I can from my former teammates. I would try to get Mahomes to sign a helmet. I try to get Travis Kelce to sign something. I try to take a selfie with Andy Reid. Like, I would try to get all my Chiefs memories that I can get, because something tells me that you are going to be moving very, very soon. And you will not, wherever you live in the city, you will not be living there in 10 days. You will be living somewhere else.
Just furthering my point about things that boggle my mind. You're right. Sky Moore's time in Kansas City has come to an end. If we get what is roster day? I think it's actually Labor Day. And we get the alert the Chiefs are cutting Jason Brownlee but keeping Sky Moore, I will be frustrated by the team. So I do think Sky Moore is gone. I think fans have been harder on the Sky Moore pick than they have been the Felix Anudike-Uzomah pick. And Sky Moore has been more productive as a player than Felix Anudike-Uzomah. That, like, connecting our two conversations, Sky Moore's time is over. It's done. It didn't work. I hope it works as the Jets, the Giants, or a bad team, and you catch on. Maybe you'll have a second run with the Titans. Like, I really do hope the best for Sky Moore. But fans crush that pick and crush the player, and deservedly so, because he has not been good. Yet they don't do that same thing for Felix. It legitimately just boggles my mind that a second-round pick in what might be the best draft the Chiefs ever had, 2022, gets more grace than their first-round pick in 2023. Just mind-blowing to me that everyone just like, yep, Sky stinks, so it goes. But Felix, it is what it is.
I think what happens with Sky, I think it's like easier to evaluate when someone's bad at wide receiver than it is to evaluate when somebody's bad on the defensive line. Like, you visually see it, right? Like, you see that he wasn't, you know what I mean? So I think that also changes things. I also think what really helps with the Chiefs and why some of the frustration has kind of subsided with them is, like, it's a crapshoot going into it, right? And the Chiefs, they have spent 3 reasonably high resources on trying to fix wide receiver. They have spent 2 second-round picks and a first-round pick. Well, they absolutely hit on one of the second-round picks in Rashee Rice, and it looks like they have hit on the other one when it comes to Xavier Worthy. So I think in a draft mindset, if you know that you're going to miss picks, I don't care, first-round pick, second-round pick, like, you're going to miss from time to time. Nobody's going to shoot 100% from the field. If you were telling me that over a 3-year, 4-year stretch, they spent 3 draft picks on wide receivers, and you feel like you hit on 2 of those, I think most people would take those odds. So I think the fact that they got it right on the back end with so many other guys, and they just missed on Sky Moore, even with me, it's just like, hey, the game is the game. There was a time where people thought Sky Moore could work. I remember he was getting compared to Julian Edelman. I even looked it back up. I was like, was I remembering this correctly? No, people thought that he could be Julian Edelman, and you just got it wrong. It just didn't work. And if you couldn't figure out a way to make it work in this wide receiver room over the last couple of years with this quarterback, this team, this head coach, and the vast problems that they've had at wide receiver, then just, hey, it just ain't meant to be. It's just time for you to go do something different. And that's why I think at the end of this period, I think this guy Moore is just, he's either going to the practice squad or he's going to do something different. I just think if I'm him, I just want to start over. It feels to me like at this point, it's much more of a mental thing than a physical thing. I don't know if mentally he'll ever be able to get right in Kansas City. Like, you need to start fresh. You need to go to Jacksonville. You need to go to Buffalo. You need to go somewhere else where you're not the second-round pick that didn't pan out, that you can just be the guy that's coming in here, low expectations, just come in here, keep your head down, and do the work. I think Sky just needs a change of scenery. I think that's in the best interest for everybody.
I really do hope that Sky Moore catches on somewhere and has better success. I do think it's like a gift and a curse of Kansas City. You're right. The expectations are Super Bowl or bust in Kansas City. And if you aren't part of the solution, you're part of the problem and you're out. Maybe if he goes to a place, that's why I mentioned the Titans. If he goes to the Titans where it's let's just get better and he has a chance to improve their wide receiver room and maybe they do something to utilize him a little differently and he turns into a 350 to 400, maybe 500 yard receiver in the league, I'd be happy for him. But it did seem like, at least his rookie year, it seemed like the pressure of being in Kansas City and having a higher, rate of, hey, you're under a microscope because we are trying to pursue Lombardi's, definitely got to him. Like, he had all those muffs, and eventually with the punts, eventually it felt like it was mental with him for a little bit. I do think he overcame it, but he does need to change his scenery more than anyone. And I mean, I have no ill will towards Sky Moore. I know this show likes to get its Sky Moore stats off, but if he goes to Tennessee, Seattle, wherever, and becomes just a complimentary piece, like Chris Conley became a complimentary piece somewhere else, good for him. That just sometimes doesn't work out in Kansas City.
Yeah, text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, we might need one more Sky Moore stat before he's cut for old time's sake. I mean, I'm always ready to do that. Sky Moore, if Sky Moore doesn't play another game for the Chiefs, he had 43 catches for 494 yards, and he scored 1 touchdown in the regular season. John Baldwin, second John Baldwin reference in today's show. John Baldwin played 2 seasons for the Chiefs. He had 41 catches for 579 yards and 2 touchdowns in Kansas City. So, I mean, Jonathan Baldwin scored more. He had more touchdowns and had more yards in a Chiefs uniform than Sky Moore did. So that is your Sky Moore stat for the day.
And, I mean, we don't ever need to do a Sky Moore stat ever again.
I might give you another one, honestly, if you want me to give you one more. Like, if you want me to give you one more between now and then, I'm perfectly fine to get one. Someone on the text line says, I think it's because a lot of people like us just forgot about Felix. He's been so MIA, I completely forgot about him. Again, that's just the benefit of you going to 3 straight Super Bowls is that you can say, I forgot that they had a first-round pick in 2023. Like, think about that. Think about how valuable we act like first-round picks are. Think about it, how valuable it is. Like, right now, if I would be like, hey, you know what? You can get X good player in the league. It's going to cost you a first-round pick. No, that's way too much. You can't give up that. Hey, the Chiefs just had one of those. It's like, no, it's good. No, we're fine. We don't need it. We're good. We'll go to the Super Bowl with or without this first-round pick. We'll just give it back to the league. No, they just gave one back to the league. There's really no other way to look at it when we're talking about that. Let's get back to the Royals here. I want to play this audio from Vern. Vern was on the morning show earlier today talking about Seth Lugo.
Conversations with Matt Quatrero when they dive into the data, the pitch data for Seth Lugo. There's nothing that screams this is a fatigued 36-year-old. So if they're not going to take any of those easy excuses, I'm not going to continue to give it to them. So bottom line, Seth Lugo needs to pitch better. He's disappointed in the second half. He knows it better than anybody. And he needs to earn that contract here down the final, 7-8 starts that he makes.
Looking at the pitching matchups for the Royals this series against the Texas Rangers, Michael Wacha pitches today. Seth Lugo is going to pitch tomorrow, Dollar Dog Day. Rob, you know I love going out to Kauffman Stadium for Dollar Dog Day, so I will be out there. Wednesday, Noah Cameron pitches for the Royals, and on Thursday, Michael Lorenzen pitches for the Royals. So, I mean, as of now, that's probably the best I think you can ask for if you're going into a very important series like this for the Kansas City Royals. This has nothing to do with Seth Lugo, but I want to play that audio for you guys. Why do you think that Noah Cameron's not getting more consideration for American League Rookie of the Year? Like, am I missing something? Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm the biggest baseball fan in the world, that I know all the other teams in the league. So maybe there's just a guy that's just very, very obvious that he's the American League Rookie of the Year. Like, maybe there's somebody that's obvious. Like, maybe people think Roman Anthony is going to win the award. I mean, maybe I just don't know. I mean, we're talking about a guy right now that he's made 17 starts. He has a 2.47 ERA. I feel like that guy should get some kind of consideration for American League Rookie of the Year, and I don't feel like anybody is talking about him, and he has no chance to make it. Like, we could talk like Noah Cameron. He might make 23 starts. I mean, it's probably realistic between now and the end of the season. He has to make 6 more starts between now and then if he stays healthy. Talking about a guy who could maybe pitch 125, 140 innings and have a sub-2.5 ERA. I feel like that guy. I feel like if Noah Cameron played for the Yankees, he'd have a chance. If Noah Cameron played for the Red Sox and put up those numbers, he'd have a chance. But he plays on the Royals, so he has no chance to win American League Rookie of the Year.
So first off, I looked this up just for fun. If you head over to FanDuel, they're only giving you 4 players who are eligible for Rookie of the Year. Nick Kurtz, who was with the A's, still have to not say Oakland, the A's, he is minus 20,000 to win the award. So Nick Kurtz is going to be the AL Rookie of the Year. It seems like a foregone conclusion based on the betting markets. But I agree with you. There needs to be some consideration for Noah Cameron. Noah Cameron, when you open your FanDuel app, should be listed as a person you can bet on. Yeah, maybe you're making a donation by betting on him at this point. Maybe you are not betting on the winner, but there is absolutely no reason that Noah Cameron shouldn't be getting more talk for AL Rookie of the Year. At least to be available to be voted on FanDuel. I do not understand it. I think it's a couple things. One, pitchers historically don't win the award. It's usually a position player award. 2, I think you hit on it, he plays for the Royals. And 3, and it's kind of the AP preseason poll effect, he didn't really have any buzz as a prospect.
Not at all.
Like, Roman Anthony was a guy that in baseball sort of feel like, oh, watch out. I mean, even in Kansas City, Jack Caglione, we had J.J. Cooper on. They spoke about Caglione like he's this transcendent prospect. No one talked about Noah Cameron that way in the Royals organization. So I think, like, the lack of buzz as he came up created the problem, but I don't get why no one's talking about it as an idea.
No, he's had a phenomenal season. So Noah Cameron, he is going to start a couple of days from now for the Kansas City Royals. He has had a really, really productive start to his year, and a guy that we didn't really talk a lot about being in the long-term plans for the Kansas City Royals, I think now has to factor in very much into the long-term plans for the Kansas City Royals. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about the Rashee Rice news from Tom Pelissero. It doesn't sound to me like the league and the Chiefs are on the same page at all about what a suspension will look like. We'll keep our football conversation going. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about Trey Hendrickson and could he possibly get traded? And there's a running back who is potentially available. Would he make sense in Kansas City? We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, host of the Random Royals lineup on 96.5 The Fan.
Baseball with the Royals.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey, Drew and Jonathan Scott here. Build a customized renter's policy with American Family Insurance so you can protect your tandem bike on the go. Thief! Oh, he is struggling with that two-seater. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Some exclusions may apply. Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI and its operating companies. 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey guys, football season is right around the corner. So that means whether you're watching your favorite college team or maybe you're watching the pros play, you're going to have people over and you're going to have your own watch parties. Well, if you plan on having a watch party this fall, make sure that it includes the best barbecue in town at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations around town, you are never too far away from that classic Gates barbecue taste. And let me tell you, the last time I was there, I got the burnt E Mac, absolutely phenomenal. Now, you know, I'm a mixed plate kind of guy, but now I got to make sure I get that on the side. I got to make sure that I get that burnt E Mac. I put a little bit of the sauce in there. I mix it all up. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely delicious. Maybe you like to get your own grilling done during the football season. Well, you can still incorporate Gates Barbecue into that. Next time you're at the grocery store, make sure you go get some of the Gates sauce. Also, make sure that you go get some of the Gates seasoning. You can get that at any area local grocery store. It's Carrington here telling you, when football season around, with tailgate season right around the corner, I know you're going to be doing some grilling. And if you plan on doing some grilling or even eating some barbecue at the function, make sure that it includes Gates Barbecue.
It's the summer sales event at Robside Ford. Your chance to upgrade without the stress. Robside joins me now. Rob, what's the offer?
0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days on nearly the entire Ford lineup.
That's a serious summer deal.
Sure is. And unlike your brisket last weekend, these deals aren't dry.
Okay, that's fair. These savings are definitely juicy.
And we're backing it up with 2 years of complimentary maintenance, a non-commissioned sales team, and top trade-in values.
No pressure. No gimmicks at Robside Ford. The way car buying should be.
We're Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 Google reviews, and a better experience from start to finish.
So skip the smoke and the dry meat. This summer, start at Robside Ford.
135th and State Line or robsightc.com. 0% financing, $0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 2 years of complimentary maintenance.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy. And next time, maybe stick to potato salad.
As summer temperatures are winding down, the final push of the season is heating up. With 1 month to go, the division-leading Tigers are coming to the K. They've got Cy Young pitching, all-star defense, and power at the plate. But when they take on the Royals August 29th through the 31st, there's one thing they won't have: their fans in the stands. So bring your playoff spirit and take home a different gate giveaway with each critical game. Reserve your seats at royals.com/tickets.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets: appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
With Robinhood, not only can you trade individual stocks and ETFs, you can also seamlessly buy and sell crypto at low costs. Trade all in one place. Get started now on Robinhood. Trading crypto involves significant risk. Crypto trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Crypto LLC. Robinhood Crypto is licensed to engage in virtual currency business activity by the New York State Department of Financial Services. Crypto held through Robinhood Crypto is not FDIC insured or SIPC protected. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Securities trading is offered through an account with Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC, a registered broker-dealer.
If Old Spice Deep Sea Super Hydration Body Wash were music, what would it sound like? Start with the deep sounds of Old Spice's ocean waves and kelp. Layer on the smooth, renewing moisture. You wouldn't hear any parabens or phthalates because Old Spice Deep Sea hasn't got any. But you would hear that vitamin B3 for healthier looking skin. So while your regular body wash sounds like this, Old Spice sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Car wreck? Get the money you deserve. Mike's got this.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this. Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Had a crash downtown, right lane block 35 northbound just before front. North KC, it's 169 highway northbound. The stall is just before 9 highway, right lane blocked there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Follow the station on Instagram at TheFan965 for giveaways and behind-the-scenes content.
Welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Monday. I want to talk about Brian Robinson Jr. in like a serious way. I also think we can talk about him and have a little bit of fun too. Now, I don't play fantasy football. You guys know that. Fantasy football is not part of my life. I know that a lot of you play fantasy football, and that's great for you. One year, my friend asked me to be like the commissioner MC for their fantasy football thing, and I agreed to do it. I charged him one Chipotle bowl. It was a great time. And I know this because I did it this one time, so I've seen it. Rob, have you ever seen, they have like this big NFL, it's like a sheet, and then they have, it's like stickers with all the different players' names on it. So you can go up to the board and then you put it up there. You guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you that play fantasy football and you do like an in-person draft. So they have like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. And then when the person drafts them, you go up to the board and then you put it on there and you can follow it and track it that way. So I don't know if you've seen this video or not, but last night there was a group of friends that did their draft. One of the individuals selected Brian Robinson Jr. with the number 1 overall pick, and he meant to select Bijan Robinson with the number 1 overall pick. So he slapped it on the board, and he's all excited, and then the group realizes the mistake that he made, and they are crushing my guy. Now, I'm asking, I don't know how this works. Is he not allowed to switch his pick if nobody else has made a selection? Like, that's an honest mistake. You messed up. But nobody else has selected Bijan Robinson. Or are you going by, Rob, the rule, once you put a name on that board and you put adhesive to paper, that's it. That's your pick. So if you made a mistake, that's a you problem. How would you handle this? Because no one's selecting Brian Robinson Jr. with the first overall pick. We all know who he was trying to. It was like a funny ha-ha. But are you going to allow him to now go back and now fix his pick and now get the correct player that he wanted to draft? How would you handle this in your fantasy football league?
Let me ask you a question because I have not seen this video, so I have to have this question as frame of reference. when it says B. Robinson, is there a W logo next to the name? Or does it have in some capacity, it is known that B. Robinson is a Washington Commander? Because if it says, and you peel that sticky and you walk up and it has the Commanders logo, or it says running back Commanders, then I'm sorry. That is just the game's the game. Adhesive has hit cardboard. That is your pick. I would be more forgiving if it just says B. Robinson, running back. That is very ambiguous.
No,
but if it says Commanders,
team,
he screwed up. I'm sorry, you lose. Tough break.
It does have that. It does have that on there.
Yeah, then I'm sorry, it's stuck. It's the same way if someone picks McCaffrey but not Christian, it's his brother Luke. I'm sorry, you screwed up. The game's the game.
I mean, I've seen this thing. It's like an official thing that the NFL sells. Like they give you a big board, you put it up there. You know, every player realistically that would get drafted, they already have a little bit of a sticker template for it. So you go up there, you do. I mean, it's official. I've seen this process. I've never drafted like this before, but I've seen the process before. So they have the logo, they have the team. If you are paying attention, you know the difference between Bijan Robinson and Brian Robinson Jr. But he went up there thinking he was taking Bijan, and now look at you. I don't even know what team he's going to be on. Text line 913-586-7965. Should you be allowed to swap it out? If nobody else has made a pick yet. Now, I will say this. If the person who goes number 2 overall, if he now selects Bijan Robinson before you realize it and correct the mistake, I agree with you that you just lost in that scenario. But you know how guys are. We're all making fun of you. We're all laughing. Nobody's paying attention and nobody has made a pick. So Bijan Robinson is still on the board. I do think you should be allowed to have Bijan Robinson if that's the case.
If this is a league for money, I'm sorry. You screwed up. You screwed up. I'm not putting $100 in the pot and having the second or third or fourth pick and being like, you know, Ronnie did what Ronnie does and screws up and grabbed the wrong Robinson. I'm sorry that you grabbed the wrong sticker, but the game is the game. Now, if it's just like, hey, you know, we're doing a league and the loser has to buy beer next season and it's low stakes, I'm more open to it. But you're playing for American currency? No.
Yeah, I don't know why you go all out to do that kind of draft. You think I'm meeting up with all 10 of you guys? We bought this thing so we can actually do the draft in person, and we not actually putting no coin on this? We absolutely putting coin on this. I don't want to be in anybody's fantasy football league if we not putting coin on this. Waste of everybody's time. And what incentive do I have to keep trying the whole season? Like, once I realize that my team's terrible, because it seems like a problem in fantasy football. Again, I don't know. How do you incentivize? Like, if you know your team's not going to win, how do you keep people engaged if there's no money? If it's just a Chipotle burrito bowl on it, well, I'll send it to you right now. I don't care. Do whatever you want with the rest of the team. How do you keep people engaged from week 1 until week 15 or 16 whenever your league ends if you don't have a financial incentive to stay in it?
I'm telling you, I don't understand. I also tell you, if you're the type of person who is forgiving the B. Robinson mistake on the text line, what happens if you're at an in-person draft and one of your buddies gets drunk and just starts making crazy picks or picks players who have been, you know, selected 3-4 rounds earlier? Like, we have rules for a reason. These drafts are supposed to be fun but still competitive at the end of the day. I'm sorry that you accidentally grabbed, you know, a wrong player and stuck it up there, but you lose. Good day, sir. That's how I would play this.
Okay. Do you want the Chiefs to make a trade for Brian Robinson Jr.?
No.
Is this just like because you just hate running back? Like, what's the reason?
He wants a contract.
Okay.
That's the whole thing. That's the whole reason he wants out, because he's looking for a contract because he's about to be off his rookie deal. No thanks. The Chiefs have a running back who's on an expiring rookie deal who they need to consider. It ain't Brian Robinson.
I mean, they currently have 3 running backs whose contract expires at the end of the season. Why they would bring in a 4th just doesn't really make any sense to me. And I like Brian Robinson as a player. I think he's a fine player. He doesn't really make any sense to me for Kansas City, like none at all. I don't think that Brian Robinson has any leverage. Do you know what the high for Brian Robinson is in rushing? Like, just take a guess. Like, what's the highest number of yards you think he's run for in his first 3 seasons?
600 yards?
799 yards. Bro, if you don't go back to work, who gives y'all advice? What kind of agent do you have? How can you have 799 yards and average 4.3 yards per carry, and now you are mad about your contract, and now you want to be traded and you ain't showing up to work? Man, if you don't get back to work, if you don't go block and get on this jugs machine, if you don't play out the rest of this rookie deal, I wouldn't trade Brian. If I'm the Commanders, I'm laughing at Brian Robinson. We're trying to figure out the Terry McLaurin situation. I will say, though, have I not been telling you, this is how you disappoint if you're the Commanders. You have a little bit of success last year. Now everybody is looking out for self and everybody wants to get paid. Your number one running back wants to get paid. Your wide receiver wants to get paid. Dudes ain't showing up to practice. Dudes ain't playing in preseason games. If you want to see how a team regresses, a team that beat one playoff team from August until January, this is what it looks like as the Washington Commanders. We still love and support the Commanders on this show, so I can't be wrong. If the Commanders are good, we'll play the song and we'll act like nothing I said over the summer matters. If the Commanders are bad this season, I'll be the first one to tell you I told you so, because I've been telling you this entire time. There's no team in the league that screams regression more than the Washington Commanders this year. Not a single one. Had 800 yards last year and you want a new contract. Man, if you don't get back to work, this is nonsense. I can't believe this. Coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk about Rashee Rice and the report from Tom Pelissero. The NFL is out of their mind. I'll explain. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Got a stall downtown, 35 northbound just before Front. The right lane is blocked. Liberty, that's a wreck still working, 35 northbound on the ramp to 152 highway. Be prepared to tap your brakes there. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val, 96.5 The Fan.
On Tuesday, August 26th, it's FanDuel Futures Day, a new holiday for every single football fan. It's 24 hours of deals, and you know I love a deal, on all your football season predictions. So take a flyer on who you think is going to win MVP. Take a flyer on who you think is going to win the championship this year, and you can parlay your division dark horse candidates. Mark your calendars. This is your day for your hunches, your hot takes, your calls, your odds. You guys always tell me what you think. This time, put your money where your mouth is. All you need to do is visit the FanDuel app today and start planning your futures bets now. So if you like Patrick Mahomes to win MVP, this is the time to take him. Or if you think the Chiefs are heading back to the big game, August 28th is a day for you. Because Futures Day is one day and one day only. FanDuel, play your game. 21 and present in Kansas. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. It's KansasGamblingHelp.com.
It's not too late to enjoy your summer with a new or improved deck. Go to PowellExteriorsKC.com to schedule a consultation today. Get your free estimate now, and you could be enjoying your new deck or patio in a matter of weeks. You are one click away from your best summer ever. Numerous brands to choose from, endless options, one incredible experience. At Aristocrat Motors, we treat every driver like royalty and offer the finest luxury vehicle experience in Kansas City. Come see us today and let us roll out the red carpet for you.
This report is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
A blood emergency has been declared in the Kansas City region, and donors are urgently needed. Now through August 26th, donate with Community Blood Center and be entered to win tickets to the Chiefs home opener. Visit SaveALifeNow.org or call 877-468-6844 to schedule your donation today.
Why buy your next vehicle at New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Paola? Simple. Honest guys that don't need to add big city overhead into the price. Search New Century Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram to see the complete inventory.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropos Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropos, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropos for dinner. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Football is back, Labor Day is around the corner, and Hy-Vee is ready for fall. Stock up on all your fall favorites during the gigantic 3-day sale this Friday through Sunday. Invite your friends and fire up the grill with Bar S Franks just 98 cents a pack, Doritos chips just $2.99, Pepsi 24-pack cans for $10.99, and Brew Pub Pizza just $4.99 each. Let's go, you fans of fall. Rush to the gigantic 3-day sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee. If you're crazy for craft beer, a connoisseur of Cabernet, or master of the margarita, Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits has a huge selection in stock and competitively priced. From value bottles of wine starting at $3.99 to top shelf liquors, get 10% off when you mix and match 6 or more bottles. Hy-Vee's knowledgeable and friendly staff is here to help, or place your order through aisles online for added convenience. Low price, selection, service, and convenience. There's more to love at Hy-Vee Wine and Spirits.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Have you watched Die Royal Decree? How about Chiefs Take Tuesday? Or would you rather Wednesday? Follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for exclusive video content, giveaways, and behind-the-scenes action. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, I want to do this for just a bit. I want to talk about this Rashee Rice story. We didn't get an opportunity to do it in full at the end of last week. We actually got this piece of audio, almost as the show was ending. So I want to give it a little bit more time to breathe and have a discussion with you guys. 913-586-7965. This audio is courtesy of NFL Network and Tom Pelissero. I'll give you my reaction on the other side. But to set it up, the NFL and Rashee Rice are not on the same plane when it comes to what they think the punishment should be. The NFL wants a lengthy suspension. Obviously, Rashee Rice and his side don't want a lengthy suspension. They have brought in a third party, Sue L. Robinson, to help mediate it. Here is the latest from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network.
Rashee Rice pled guilty last month to 2 third-degree felony charges stemming from a car crash at high speeds back in March of 2024. The expectation is Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for a portion of the 2025 season. The question now is how much? My understanding is the NFL initially proposed a lengthy suspension, double-digit games for Rashee Rice. The Players Union and Rashee Rice's attorney and agents argued for a much shorter suspension, in part because there is no precedent for suspending someone for over half the season in a case like this. So as you mentioned, there is a September 30th hearing set before former federal judge Sue L. Robinson, who previously heard the initial Deshaun Watson case several years ago here. But there is still a possibility that the sides could come together and agree to a settlement on a suspension that would allow Rice to be suspended at the start of the season. If not, then he would be eligible for at least those first 3 games. But given the fact that not only the decision-making process, but potential appeals could extend that process into October or November if it goes before Judge Robinson, this is something then that could potentially jeopardize his availability for the postseason. A lot to consider as this case moves forward.
All right, there's a lot to get into. I want to be very clear because I know how sometimes words get misconstrued. Rashee Rice should absolutely be suspended. I think that Rashee Rice deserves a noticeable suspension. This is not a 1 or a 2 game act. Rashee Rice, in the middle of the day, on a busy highway in Dallas, he and his friend got into a very serious car accident and injured other people. In the process of this, they then fled the scene of the crime. So I don't think we're talking about a 1 or a 2 game suspension. But, and yes, there's a but, there is no grounds for the NFL to do the kind of suspension that they are talking about. And in my opinion, they are overstepping their bounds. I looked this up this weekend because I was genuinely curious. Since 2018, the only person who has been suspended for more than 8 games who was not caught up in a gambling scandal has been Deshaun Watson. I believe that Deshaun Watson is a predator. I think we have enough evidence to come to that conclusion. Usually, if you get the amount of games that we are talking about, you are a predator. That's not what we're talking about with Rashee Rice. Again, I don't want to minimize what happened. And I hate that when we had these conversations, we've kind of played the shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well, somebody could have got killed, but they didn't. So I can't compare this to Dante Stallworth where someone actually got killed. I cannot compare this to Henry Ruggs where, again, someone actually got killed. That's not what happened. This, in my opinion, falls under a violation of the personal player conduct policy. That's a 6-game suspension. That's what happened with Sue L. Robinson back a few years ago with Deshaun Watson. She heard the case. She reviewed the NFL's own documents and what they classify as a violation of player conduct, and she gave Deshaun Watson a 6-game suspension. Now, I believe that Deshaun Watson should have got more than a 6-game suspension. The league also felt this way. They wanted him to have a full game suspension. They found a number in the middle, and they agreed on 11 games, and then he got his penalty. It feels to me, just based on the actions of what is happening, they are putting Rashee Rice in the same conversation, the same actions as Deshaun Watson, and I don't think that they're comparable. Rashee Rice should be suspended. He should. But if we're going to play the, well, he could have died, then why didn't Alvin Kamara get a more lengthy suspension? If you have multiple NFL players kicking and beating on a man in a Las Vegas hotel to the point where he gets $100,000 in medical expenses, I'm guessing he could have died. You could have hit him the wrong way. He could have hit his, like, we could play that shoulda, coulda, woulda game about any one of these instances. Jordan Addison got behind the wheel of a car drunk and made the decision to drive. So drunk to the point he fell asleep on the highway. Fell asleep to where passengers, they called the police because his car was impeding traffic. We all know where, there's a car off to the side of the road, but the car is like too much in the road that it's kind of an inconvenience for everybody. You got to drive around that car. That's what Jordan Addison did. They then went up, knocked on the window. He was asleep behind the wheel. He got a 3-game suspension. If you make the decision to get behind the wheel of a car and drive drunk, guess what? You could kill somebody. But Jordan Addison got a suspension based off what happened. I'm not here to defend Rashee Rice. I'm not here to justify what Rashee Rice did. And again, Rashee Rice should be suspended for what happened. But based on the NFL's own rules, it should be between 4 to 6 games. And if you think it should be more than that, then honestly, I just don't think that's in the NFL's jurisdiction. That's what the actual legal system is. And he got jail time. He got 30 days. Now, we could say jail, prison, whatever it is. I don't want to go there. I certainly don't want to give him an entire month of my life. It don't sound fun. He got 30 days, 5 years probation. So we got a real serious, real life, actual, tangible penalty. And now the NFL wants to swoop in and now be tough on crime? I can't do this. Double-digit game suspension is what they gave Greg Hardy. Go back and look at what Greg Hardy was accused of. Go look at what Greg Hardy did. We're saying that Rashee Rice should get the same amount of games that Greg Hardy got. There's not a single ground. There's not a single precedent. There is not a single comparable example in NFL history to giving Rashee Rice an 11 or 12 game suspension. There's not a comparison to give him more than 8 based on what's happened in the NFL. It feels to me like they are now trying to make a precedent. And I feel like what always happens in the NFL is we start playing the comparison game. Well, this guy did this and then he got this and that. We shouldn't have to do that. This is a standard 6 to 8 game suspension. That's what I think it should be. So we're all waiting. We're waiting to see what happens. I do believe that the league and the players are continuing to negotiate this thing and hopefully find a settlement. I think that's in the best interest of everybody. I do. I think it's in the best interest of everybody if Rashee Rice and the league, they are discussing this thing right now. We get a breaking news sounder coming up in 12 days that they have reached an agreement that Rashee Rice is going to sit out the first 6 games of the season and they are going to move forward. But it seems obvious just based on all of the developments, based on bringing in Sue L. Robinson, they are not close on this thing. I'm guessing the Chiefs want 4 games. I'm guessing based on what we just heard from Tom Pelissero, I think the league wants somewhere between 10 to 12. The truth is usually somewhere in the middle. This is a 4 to 6 game suspension, in my opinion, of what we're talking about.
This is why, and I feel like we're the only show, or at least I can only speak for us. I feel like sometimes we have these conversations and the text line says, shut up, they're millionaires, they should deal with it. This is why this show talks about the CBA and how the players union gets rolled over on, because if they don't come to an agreement before meeting with Sue L. Robinson, the NFL is going to levy a more strong penalty than you or I believe is fair. That's what this also means to me, is that if they go to Sue L. Robinson and Sue says, hey, it's 4 games, the NFL is going to appeal. Roger Goodell will then hear the case. He works for, wait for it, the NFL. He might not be able to give 10 because that's too harsh in the eyes of an independent arbiter, but he can then slap 8 on and say, hey, Sue said 8's too many. We, the NFL, think 4 is too few. Congrats on 8. That's basically what happened with Deshaun Watson. So if I'm the Chiefs, if I'm Rashee Rice, I understand why you don't like 10 and you don't think 10 to 12 is fair, and I would agree with you. But I think if this gets to Sue L. Robinson, this gets more murky and more problematic because the CBA is set up for, hey, we couldn't reach an agreement. We're going to an independent person. They give us a suggestion, and then either side can appeal, and it goes back to the NFL, and the NFL gets to, levy whatever punishment it seems fair. That system is broken, so I think they need to make an agreement before it's Sue L. Robinson time, or this could become a real problem for the Chiefs, because if Goodell slaps 8 on him in week 11, that's a bigger problem as far as on the field from a football perspective than what's being laid out right now.
Someone on the text line says Rice's actions are unprecedented, so his punishment should be that way too. I don't know if I agree with that, but I just think the game that they are going to run into, and I think they're already running into this, is when you see the suspension possible that I think they want for Rashee Rice, based on how they've handled other things, I think it just looks out of whack. Many people, myself included, I believe that the NFL saw the Ray Rice video and gave him a 2-game suspension. I think at that point, I don't even think it's an opinion anymore at this point. I think the NFL saw the Ray Rice video and gave him 2 games. I think he got more games once we saw the video, and then they saw the pretty big outrage about it. I don't think the NFL is really good at this. In fact, I think they're really, really bad at this. And I think it's okay for them to be inconsistent about things that just don't really matter. I mean, they're not really consistent. There really isn't like a pure formula to these things. This is like a really serious thing that we're talking about. So I understand why they've taken the stance of let's let the legal system play itself out, and now we're going to come to this conclusion. But if you were talking about Rashee Rice getting a 10 to 12 game suspension, the only people who have gotten this are abusers or you gambled on the sport. That's it. Those are the only people who have gotten these double-digit game suspensions. For every other incident that we are talking about in the National Football League, and trust me, Rashee Rice is not the only football player who has ever gotten in trouble. They usually get somewhere between 4 to 6 games. Look at what Ben Roethlisberger was accused of. He got a 6-game suspension. That's the precedent that they've set if you violate the personal player conduct policy. And that's what I think Rashee Rice has violated. I think he's violated the player personal conduct policy. That is a 6-game suspension. We can take you guys' phone calls on this, 913-586-7965. Tom Pelissero is reporting that the league wants to give Rashee Rice a lengthy suspension and that they are fighting it and trying to get fewer games. And now they have brought in Sue L. Robinson to mediate this thing and hopefully find a middle ground. We'll take your phone calls next. Keep it right here, so drive.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Hey guys, football season is right around the corner. So that means whether you're watching your favorite college team or maybe you're watching the pros play, you're going to have people over and you're going to have your own watch parties. Well, if you plan on having a watch party this fall, make sure that includes the best barbecue in town at Gates Barbecue. With 5 locations around town, you are never too far away from that classic Gates barbecue taste. And let me tell you, the last time I was there, I got the burnt E Mac, absolutely phenomenal. Now, you know, I'm a mixed plate kind of guy, but now I got to make sure I get that on the side. I got to make sure that I get that burnt E Mac. I put a little bit of the sauce in there. I mix it all up. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely delicious. Maybe you like to get your own grilling done during the football season. Well, you can still incorporate Gates Barbecue into that. Next time you're at the grocery store, make sure you go get some of the Gates sauce. Also, make sure that you go get some of the Gates seasoning. You can get that at any area local grocery store. It's Carrington here telling you, when football season around, with tailgate season right around the corner, I know you're going to be doing some grilling. And if you plan on doing some grilling or even eating some barbecue at the function, make sure that it includes Gates Barbecue.
Baseball fans, BetMGM is giving you the chance to win a prize every day during the baseball season. Step into the batter's box for BetMGM's Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. Log in every day for your chance to win. All you need to do is pick an area of the strike zone and take your best swing. If you get a single, double, triple, or home run, you'll receive a prize. Smash a home run to collect a bonus bet on us. Just log into your BetMGM Sports account to get started. Then, visit your promotions section to access the Swing for the Fences free-to-play game. You'll score a prize if you hit a single, double, triple, or home run. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards may vary. Bonus bets expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Could you use a little bit of extra help in the bedroom? We all could. Blue Chew is there to help. Your partner wants you to do whatever it takes to make your sex life better, and Blue Chew is that secret weapon for the bedroom or wherever you decide to get it on. The Chiefs, they're in training camp. They're getting after it. They're trying to train and get their bodies ready for the start of the season here in about a month. What if you didn't need any training to improve your performance and be at your best when it is time to perform? I'm talking about Blue Chew. Turn oh no into oh yes. And if you don't like chewing tablets, that's perfectly fine because Blue Chew's tablets are chewable. They're an online prescription service. There's no awkward visits or conversations at the doctor's office, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. It ships right to your door in a discreet package. And if you want a great offer, free sounds good, right? Go to BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use our promo code KFNZ at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code KFNZ to receive your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hot damn! Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and an 8% kick of alcohol. Dial up the fun with Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted!
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Where can you find an extensive line of Blue Demon welding supplies, filler, rods, and wire? Metal by the Foot, located in Casey and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Still dealing with that stall, 635 southbound at State Avenue. The right lane is blocked. Wrecker on the scene, should be up and out of your way any minute now. Overland Park, crash still there. 35 southbound on the ramp to 69 southbound in the right lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, Electric Traffic Center on Val. 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Hey, it's Lucas Ursig from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with C-Dot on 96.5 The Fan.
All right, someone chimed in with this. Text line 913-586-7965. I believe that Rashee Rice could get 5 games per felony, so that would be a 10-game suspension because he was charged with 2 third-degree felony charges. The precedent for 4 to 6 is for civil matters. He had a highway shut down and fled, not caring if anyone was injured. I don't think that it is fair, and I sound like I'm defending Rashee Rice, but I don't think it is fair to say that he fled because he didn't care if anyone was injured. If you want my opinion, I think Rashee Rice had something to drink and fled the scene because he knew at that point the worst possible thing that could happen is that the cops show up and they find out you have been drinking. I find it hard to believe. This is just Carrington's opinion. I do not know this. I obviously wasn't there. This is just Carrington's opinion. I find it hard to believe that you and your friend make a decision to have a race on the highway at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, leaving a bowling alley, and you didn't have nothing to drink. I find it as hard to believe that you came up with that was a good idea. That's something you would only think that is a good idea if you had been drinking. I think he and his friends were having a good time. They got in the car. They made the decision to go racing on the street. Something obviously went wrong. He was like, whoa, what happened here? And his people told him, we got to go. Like, I had something to drink. You had something to drink. You had to go. Now, obviously, you should be penalized for that, and he has been penalized for it. 30 days in jail. He is paid up to $100,000 in fine. That part, the courts had figured out. Now I think we're talking about where the NFL stands on this thing. Now, I will agree to this part of it. Maybe this is meeting in the middle. Sometimes compromise you got to do. If they're now telling me if you get charged and booked with a felony, if that now counts for a set amount of games, fine. But right now, that's not the rule that we have currently in the National Football League. And that's where I think we run the risk of we just don't know the penalties and what they get. We know what the penalty is if you test positive for steroids. We know the penalty is if you get charged with the DUI. Like, we know what the penalty is for these things. If we're now saying is if you get charged with the felony, if it now counts for X number of games, then fair. But it usually takes some kind of fight to get that to happen. And it sounds like right now the Chiefs and the NFL Players Association are doing what they should do because there is no example of a player being suspended for this long for this kind of incident. Again, if you look up, since 2018, the only player who has been suspended more than 8 games for a non-gambling situation was Deshaun Watson. And we're talking about somebody who was accused of over 20 sexual assaults. Over 20. You have to explain to me how Deshaun Watson can get 11 games and how Rashee Rice can also get 11 games, because those two penalties do not feel comparable to me if we are talking about what actually happened. And that's the fight that I think the NFL is about to have and they're about to engage with when it comes to Rashee Rice.
I also think, and I don't want to come off like I'm, defending Rashee Rice either. I also think it's very fair for the text line to make the point earlier. You talked about it. Trying to find the text, is unprecedented situations. The NFL could punish him in an unprecedented way. I do think that's a thing that could happen because, for better or worse, when a domestic violence issue comes up off the field, whether it be for the Chiefs or another team, we can point to other domestic violence situations and say they got X. We expect this player to get X as well. That is just what happens. 6 games usually the rule of thumb. We don't have a lot of instances like what happened with Rashee Rice. You don't see multiple felonies for what happened multiple times with Rashee Rice. Like, it's a little bit of uncharted territory. So while I agree with you, I think 10 is harsh, I do think it's fair to say we don't have a precedent here, and the NFL could be trying to set one with Rice, which is something that we cannot account for. And then what I don't like we do, and it just, unfortunately, it happens when you talk about the NFL and talk about sports, is you get into the game of comparing crimes. Well, this crime is this crime is that, this one's worse. I don't like doing that, but
I'm with you.
In unprecedented territory, the NFL has historically tried to levy a new precedent, and I'm worried that could be what happens to Rice, and that could be why they're looking for 10 to 12.
Let's go to the phone lines here and take a couple of calls on this. Stanley called into the show today. Hey, Stanley, how you doing today, my man?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. Enjoying the show. Really good points being made. I do think that the downfall, the decision will be made based on those two things, that potentially he was under the influence. I guess that'd be the third thing. But I mean, he's driving at a high rate of speed, reckless, and then just the fact that he didn't have the sense of like a normal human to stay and check things out and like take responsibility right away. Like, it took how many days for him to kind of turn himself in, and did he have to be coaxed and coached to turn himself in? So, I really think he's probably a solid person as a result of what happened to him. But in that moment in time, the league can pretty much unilaterally decide, well, because we have to set this and establish this so that if anybody else decides to go that route and do the same thing, they understand up front. So that would be my take.
Stanley, really quickly, if you were Sue L. Robinson, how many games do you think he should get?
I might even do rest of the season.
Okay, Stanley, I appreciate the phone call. Stanley, that's a big suspension. A 16, 17-game suspension for Rashee Rice? It's a big suspension. Especially when the only other, vehicle incidents that have involved an entire year suspension have involved in fatalities. Like, that's what Leonard Little got, right? Remember Leonard Little back to play for the Rams? That's what he got. That's what Dante Stallworth got. Like, the only full season suspensions involving a car have involved in fatalities. No one died in this. So we talk about precedent. Like, there is really no precedent for you getting a car accident and you were done for the entire season if everybody walked away alive from the car accident.
I mean, there's been no reporting that 17 games or 16 games, whatever is coming. I would be fall out of my chair stunned. But I do think whenever the suspension is finalized, whether it be they meet in the middle before the season starts, or there's Sue L. Robinson, then an appeal, or however it eventually gets resolved, I imagine the average Chiefs fan that thought, oh, Jordan Addison got 3. I think 3 is coming for ice. I think the punishment is going to be steeper than the average person thinks. I think the NFL is telling you right now that they don't like the way this looked, and they're, quote, protecting the shield. And it wouldn't surprise me if this ends with 6, 8, or I think 10 would be harsh. But I think, 5 to 8 is now a very realistic window, because even if Sewell Robinson says 4, we know how the appeal process works. It goes to Goodell, and Goodell can kind of do whatever he wants.
I don't think the league is taking less than 5 games.
I agree. I think 5 to 8 is the window.
Yeah, the same thing that we were talking about with Sewell Robinson. She said 6 for Deshaun Watson. The league wanted 16 games. They agreed at 11. If Roger Goodell thinks that you should be suspended double-digit games, he ain't accepting 4. You know what I mean? Especially when they got a chance to just hear her suggestion and be like, all right, cool, thanks, and then come to a conclusion on their own. That's why I said just a minute ago, the best thing to me for the Chiefs is to not have Sue L. Robinson involved and have this figured out in the next 3 weeks.
They need to get it done before it goes to court.
100%.
Well, I guess not court, but you get what I'm saying. The mediation.
100%. Because now, if you're talking about strictly from a football standpoint, I think the worst thing from a on the field playing perspective, they wait until September 30th to get this done. The league doesn't accept the original penalty. They keep going back and forth and discussing it, and then they eventually agree to an 8-game suspension, and Rashee Rice misses the second half of the season and doesn't come back until it's time to play in the playoffs. That's the worst possible thing that could happen for the Chiefs. That's why I would just try to get this over with if I'm the Chiefs and if I'm Rashee Rice. I just agreed to my 7-game suspension, just have it done. I'm back potentially for the Bills game, and this cloud is over me. Now, someone on the text line makes a very good point. The league is going to give him more time than the actual court system did. If they give him a 6-game suspension, he will miss more time than he got jail time. And is that the NFL's place to do that? Because that is a significant penalty if that's what they do. A significant penalty.
I also would say, purely on the field, staying in the on-field perspective, you're working about he gets 8 games, missed the whole second half of the season. Let's say Sue L. Robinson hears both sides on the 30th and doesn't make a decision until the 8th. So now it's October 8th and she makes her decision. Then let's say on the 9th, the NFL appeals that decision. And then the NFL gives him 5 to 8 on, hey, we agreed to it, and it's October 16th. And that's when they make the longer this thing gets drawn out, the worse it is from a purely on-the-field perspective, because if the NFL is going to levy a harsh penalty, which all accounts are, they are trying to levy a harsh penalty, the postseason starts to get murky and in jeopardy if it's not until late October that they levy their punishment. And then now you're missing a wild card game or a divisional game because of something that happened 2 years previous in the offseason. That, from an on-the-field perspective, would be the absolute worst-case scenario for the Chiefs. Imagine not having Rashee Rice when they play the Ravens. Because he kept appealing.
Text line 913-586-7965. We'll read more of your texts. If you want to chime in, you can do so as well. You can call in that same phone number as well. Let's talk about the receivers that we do feel are going to be there. Let's say week 4, week 5 of the season. Hollywood Brown, he didn't play in the last game, hasn't been practicing a whole bunch. Andy Reid went through the thought process of if Hollywood Brown's going to be ready for this weekend's game against the Bears.
Yeah, so Hollywood did a little work yesterday, and which was good. He'll get a little bit more today. And then we'll just see. We'll see how he progresses through this thing. So, but he wants to. It's not a matter of wanting to be out there. He wants to do it. It's just taking it slow. So we don't want any setbacks with this thing going forward here.
I'm not here to criticize the all-knowing wisdom of Andy Reid, but if Andy came on the show, I would just ask him. Tell me the benefit of Hollywood Brown playing in Friday's game against the Bears. I'd love to know what the positives are. I think we all know what's going to happen on Friday. Some of you have paid money to go to Friday's game. You got your bus ready. It's the first tailgate of the year. You're going to be out there celebrating football being back, and man, I'm excited for you. I think the Chiefs owe it to you guys a little bit to play the guys that you want to see. You can kill two birds with one stone. Mahomes goes out there, he throws a couple of passes, you block a little bit, you get a little bit of in-game practice and in-game preparation. The fans are happy. They get a chance to see one Chiefs drive, the music, and then I'm sitting everybody that matters. It's over for the Chiefs. It's over. Preseason, training camp, it's over. Mahomes, go out there, throw one screen pass, give Isaiah Pacheco a couple of handoffs, maybe give Kareem Hunt one handoff. We're going to run one drive like it matters. And then after that, it's over. I'm telling you, them having an extra drive against the Bears on Friday is not going to be the reason they win or lose a couple of Fridays from now against the Los Angeles Chargers. It's not. I'm telling you. I think this team is ready. This is a team that is largely cohesive and have played together for the last 2 seasons. I think this part of the Chiefs season is over, but I fully understand them wanting to go out there and put on a show for you guys. Some of you guys have spent tens, maybe $100 a ticket to go out there and watch them play. I get why they would want to play in front of you. Hollywood's not playing on my preseason team. No, it's over. Do whatever you need. Go rest up. Go over there and hang out with Burkholder. Who's the one lady they like? Julie. Go hang out with Julie. Go get some extra There's no benefit in playing Hollywood Brown on Friday against the Bears. None. Not a single one. I keep telling you guys, every time we're not talking about Hollywood is a good day. It's a positive day. I don't want Hollywood to be discussed in any capacity. Keep him on ice. The Chiefs are, we believe, they are, 3 weeks away? They're 3 weeks away from finally getting a chance to see their offense at full capacity. Nobody on the offensive line is hurt right now. Your quarterback is completely healthy. Your running back is healthy. Everybody is healthy right now. The only person that we're potentially worried about for the Friday game against the Chargers is Hollywood Brown. I'm not playing him. No, you're going to be standing next to me this whole time. That's how I would handle Hollywood Brown. I do not see positives in him playing against the Bears this weekend.
Does that apply to other players or just Hollywood Brown? I get why it applies to Hollywood Brown. He has been fragile during his time in Kansas City. But are there other players you go, nope, not worth it? Because it sounds like the starters are going to play some.
Yeah, some.
Like,
I don't mind them playing their starters for one series. Like, I don't mind if the plan is going to be, you know how they talk about that long drive drill, that 10-10-10 drill. If their plan is, hey, you know what? We're going to game plan and we're going to script our first 15 like an actual NFL game. Pat, we want you to go out there for one series. Defense, we want you to go out there for one series. The player that I'm most worried about not getting through that is Hollywood Brown. It's not even close. Who would you even have as second? Like right now, if you're saying, other than Patrick, right? Like I get it, he's the quarterback. If you're saying right now that you could protect any other starter from getting out there on the field, and let's say you can't say Mahomes, Kelsey, or Jones because they're the 3 most important players on the team, who would you say next is even that player? Like I don't even know if they have that player it's Hollywood. That's the one player I don't want out there on the field. It can only end badly. It can only end badly. It's ended badly. Every time they've tried to play him, it's ended badly. Just eliminate it.
I mean, I would agree. This is the same vein of this conversation. The Chiefs have played their preseason a little bit differently than they have historically, and I'm puzzled as to the why. Like, Andy Reid is a creature of habit. The starters play their one drive. He says one quarter, but it's one drive the first preseason game. They play a little bit longer in the second preseason game, and then they watch on the sideline in the third preseason game. It's weird to me he mixed it up and changed it up. There were I guess Pacheco got some run. He had the big play on Friday. But, like, outside of the O-line, it wasn't like Gardner Minshew was slinging the ball around to, Rashee Rice and co. on Friday. Like, I wonder why he's changed up his game plan. Because maybe it's an alarmist. I would never play real players in the third preseason game. Too much can go wrong. You're 2 weeks in the season. If you get even like a bump or a bruise in an NFL sense that slows you down, what are we doing? That seems like the best way to do it is to be risk averse, and he's kind of changed his, a tiger changed his stripes, so to speak, and he's doing it differently this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the right way to do it. I have been watching The Kingdom. I'm probably going to finish it either today or tomorrow. I've actually really, really enjoyed it. I don't watch the franchise, but I've really watched The Kingdom, and I know you haven't seen it yet, Rob, but the second episode of The Kingdom fully explains why Andy Reid is such a good coach. I was talking to my friend when I was watching it, and I was like, I think that people just equate like yelling. You know, a lot of times we just hear like people just love to see football coaches like yell at people and like be really tough and hard nosed. Like we really like that. You don't really get that sense from Andy at all. You get the sense from Andy that Andy communicates with you on what is expected and how we do things here. He sets the expectation, and your motivation comes from not wanting to let this person down because this person seems to have your best interest at heart. Like, if you haven't seen The Kingdom, I would highly encourage you to watch it. And more specifically, I would just highly encourage you to watch the second episode of it because it's about Andy. It's about Andy, his journey on the field, off the field, and what makes him so successful. And I think we forget this all the time. And we talk a lot about X's and O's and scheme and all those things. And I'm not saying those things don't matter. You obviously got to be really good at that. Andy is such a really, really good head coach because he's really, really good with people. And in the end, you are asking one person to get 53 people from different backgrounds, different economic status, different religions, you were trying to get all of those people on the same page, working in the same direction to be the absolute best that they can be to help you guys win. And I think if you watch that, you will just understand why Andy is so good at this and why he's been so good at it for a very, very long time. Again, I would highly encourage you to watch The Kingdom. It was a really good show. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to take a little bit of a detour before we get back to local. Rich Eisen is making his ESPN return today. He has actually not been on SportsCenter since 2003. He is going to host it later tonight in place of Scott Van Pelt. Why don't we take a nostalgic trip down memory lane? We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Summer is here, and that means longer days and warm nights, rooftop dinners, spontaneous getaways, vacation season, and romance is in the air. But if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, all that excitement, it can feel like pressure and like you're missing out on something. Well, look, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's help that's out there, especially with my friends over at Heartland Men's Health. They specialize in ED treatments that work even when the pills and the herbals don't, with a success rate of over 90%. Some guys even last an hour or more. Summer should feel unforgettable, romantic, confident, not stressful. If your sex life is just good enough, then why should you settle? Your first visit is just $99, including a full medical consult, testosterone, and a PSA test, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. Visit the website, heartlandmenshealth.com. With offices in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City, you can get back in action as soon as tomorrow. Don't let ED steal your summer away. Reclaim it, and you can do that with Heartland Men's Health.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Want to see the 2015 World Champion Royals swing it again? Come out to Home Run Derby X at Kauffman Stadium for a reunion on September 13th. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Alex Gordon, Ben Zobrist, and Lorenzo Cain take their cuts against reps from the Blue Jays and the Mets. Come join the action for a night of massive dingers, slick defense, and target-smashing thrill. You don't want to miss it. Get your tickets now at MLB.com/HRDXKC. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
If you have back-to-school shopping to do, then you should make Macy's your first stop, because Macy's has back-to-school styles from brands like Nike and Jordan, must-have denim from Levi's and Good American, and now Macy's has Abercrombie Kids too. It's all in one place, all at great prices. And here's another reason to come in. If you're already at Macy's and you saved so much, you could stop by the fragrance counter and pick up something for yourself too. The best back-to-school styles are here now at Macy's.
It's Rawhide Harley's Sign and Ride event. No cash down needed. Rates as low as 1.49% APR on select Harleys. Put no cash down, sign, and ride away on your new Harley from Rawhide Harley. Save thousands on interest at Rawhide Harley Davidson. Under credit on 2024 low rider ST, low rider S, or road like 3 miles. See dealer for details.
Tonight, expect a chance of showers and thunderstorms with a low of 75.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples. That was easy.
The John Deere Gator XUV lets you cut, pack, drive, scout, weld, stack, feed, pull, load, tow, spray, and haul, all in a single day. Because with the highest cargo box volume in its class, customizable features, and a towing capacity of up to 4,000 pounds, it gets the job done. You just have to get in the seat. Learn more at your John Deere dealer or visit johndeere.com/GatorXUV.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! Hot damn! Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea just got harder with Twisted Tea Extreme. Twisted Tea Extreme is made with real brewed tea, goes down smooth, and an 8% kick of alcohol. Dial up the fun with Twisted Tea Extreme. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Park & Go, the best deals on airport parking.
Don't fumble your airport parking. Score big with Park & Go. All covered parking, fast and free shuttles, and open 24/7. For the best deals in airport parking, reserve your spot now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family owned and fan approved.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Had a crash in Pleasant Valley, 435 southbound just past 152 highway, taking up the right lane. They say in the clearing stages, though. Shawnee, that's a stall. 35 southbound at Antioch, blocking the right lane from the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center on Val 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right, welcome back into the drive. We'll get back to local coming up in just a bit, but you know, sometimes we like to take a trip down memory lane. And this time, this is a good reason to take a trip down memory lane. Rich Eisen is going to host SportsCenter today for the first time since 2003. So there's a Monday night football game. I don't know who's playing because I don't have any interest in watching Monday night football on August 18th. So if you watch it, great. I'm sure it will be fun. After Monday Night Football, you know they usually have the SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Well, today, Scott Van Pelt is not going to host that SportsCenter. Rich Eisen is going to do it for the first time again since 2003. This is my question that I want to debate with you guys. 913-586-7965. If you were making the SportsCenter Mount Rushmore, I think two spots are locked up Stuart Scott and Dan Patrick. I do not think that those two spots are debatable. If you make a SportsCenter Mount Rushmore that doesn't include those two individuals, that lets me know that I shouldn't be talking to you about this subject. So I think the two spots are locked in, and now we're debating the other two spots. Rob, do you agree? Do you agree that those two have to be on your SportsCenter Mount Rushmore, regardless of what era, regardless of what generation? Those are the two most important people who have hosted that show. Oh, here goes some hate. Oh, my goodness. I just said I can't even talk to you about this topic, and I'm going to have that with you. We work together. I got to talk to you about these topics.
I would have SVP over Dan Patrick.
I mean, I'm not saying you can't have both of them on there. I'm just saying those two have to be on there. There is no world in which you were telling me Scott Van Pelt is on there and Dan Patrick is not on there.
I don't think Dan Patrick is a lock. I think there are people. I think Stuart Scott is a definite lock. I think Dan Patrick falls into a group of, there's a wave of people that are definitely in that, ooh, they're fringe. I don't know their locks, though, because Dan Patrick, Rich Eisen, Chris Berman is not a lock. Like,
I don't think Berman's
Scott Van Pelt's not a lock.
I don't think that Berman is a
SportsCenter
SportsCenter lock. Like, I don't really associate Berman with SportsCenter. I know that, like, a generation before us does. Berman I associate with NFL Primetime. Like, that was his show. I didn't watch SportsCenter for Chris Berman. So that's why I just wouldn't put Berman on my list. This was the list that I put together. It was a list that I put together. I think it's Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen, Dan Patrick, and I really struggle with at the end, is it Scott Van Pelt or Linda Cohn? It's like Linda Cohn was just on that show for just 20 years. She was a staple of the show. So you can go either one with those two. I would put Linda Cohn on there. I love Scott Van Pelt. I just don't watch, like, I don't feel the connection to the show the way that I did when we were kids. What we all did when we were kids.
Yeah, but Scott Van Pelt did both eras. He was doing the SVP at night, basically his radio show, SportsCenter. He also used to do regular SportsCenter and used to do a good job back when he had hair and came over from the Golf Channel. Like, he did both. I think he has to be a lock. And now I think you're showing our age a little bit, because I think there's a wave of people that Kenny Mayne, Stuart, I think is a question mark. Rich Eisen, who I mentioned earlier. I don't associate him with SportsCenter, but Keith Olbermann, for a lot of people, is the voice of SportsCenter.
No, Olbermann's not in the top four. I'm with you. Like, if we were doing like a second or a third team, we were doing this like basketball, sure. Olbermann can't be on the Mount Rushmore. You think Keith Olbermann is one of the four most important people to ever be on that show? No chance he's top four.
I don't, but I think he's in that same vein as Kenny Mayne, Rich Eisen. I think and I think nowadays, if you go ask, I'm going to the KU game this weekend. If you go ask a random college kid, hey, what do you think of Dan Patrick? They do not think of SportsCenter. When they think of SportsCenter, Dan Patrick does not cross their mind. I don't know Dan Patrick is a lock. I think he's right there in that fringe category. It's like, is he more of a lock than John Butchergross is a lock? Probably. But is he more of a lock than Rich Eisen? They're kind of the same to me.
Who's your four? I gave you my four. I think it's Stuart Scott, Rich Eisen, Dan Patrick, and Linda Cohn. That's who I think the four is. And I got SVP. If we were doing a basketball starting five, I would have SVP in my starting five. I can't put him on this list over Linda Cohn. Not how important she was to SportsCenter.
My four would be, I agree with you on Stuart Scott, obvious lock. I would have SVP.
Let me ask you this about Stuart Scott, and I'm going to ask this question with respect. Are we putting him on this list because he passed? Because some of the other people, like you mentioned Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick left, did something else, he has been very, very successful in doing something else. Like, we just don't know how Stuart Scott's career would have continued. Like, maybe Stuart Scott just stops doing it at a certain point and then just goes off to do something else. Like, that's why I think with Stuart Scott, I think we all love him, the lingo, the slang. Like, I don't know if there is a sports broadcaster that said things that entered like American pop culture and the lexicon the way that Stuart Scott is. So I'm happy to have him on the list. I'm just simply asking, is he on the list because he passed away?
No, I think he's
a lock, I guess. Is he a lock because of that?
I think it's more than that. I think when you think of like the iconic SportsCenter, like verbiage and terms, cool is the other side of the pillow, things like that, they come from Stuart Scott. Like, think of the most like iconic, I guess they're not, you can't see them. You think of the iconic SportsCenter like cliches. Who makes them? I mean, more times than not, it's Stuart Scott.
Yeah,
so I would say Stuart Scott. I would say I have SVP as a lock. I don't know why you don't. SVP is in lock territory to me. I'm putting Kenny Mayne into lock too.
I did like Kenny Mayne. Now, I will say this about Kenny Mayne. He is the point guard on my second team All ESPN Sports Center.
100% fair.
I love Kenny Mayne. Kenny Mayne was great. I don't know if I would put him on my Mount Rushmore, but I'm telling you, if we're saying second team, he's the point guard for that team, yes, I got no problem putting him on the second team. He is definitely in the top 10.
So I got those are my three, and this is where I really struggled because I'm like, man, what do I do with Rich Eisen, with Dan Patrick, with Keith Olbermann, with Chris Berman? Like, there's a good group right here that I think is like, what do I do with? I gave it to Rich Eisen. So that's my 4. And I think Dan Patrick is just outside looking in.
How is Rich Eisen on the list and Patrick not on the list?
I think Rich Eisen in my head is more synonymous with ESPN than Dan Patrick is.
Wow. Okay, I'm surprised by that.
If I had a fifth, head on Mount Rushmore, then yes, Dan Patrick's there.
Okay.
Also, someone says Bob Lee. Bob Lee, I don't associate with SportsCenter.
To me, he's outside the lines.
Yep.
That's what that's what I'm saying is like when you say Chris Berman, I understand he started on there. When I think of Chris Berman, I just don't think of SportsCenter anchor. I think of other shows. Same thing with Bob Lee. I know Bob Lee's done it before, but I think of Bob Lee, like Bob Lee was the host of Outside the Lines.
What do you do with John Anderson?
I got him as a third teamer.
I feel like he's in the same vein as Trey Wingo.
I got him as a third teamer.
He and
Trey Wingo's probably third team too.
Yeah.
Third team. I mean, they're on the team. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can't name 15 guys without them. But, like, yeah, Trey Wingo and John Anderson, third team guys.
A lot of people are saying Steve Levy.
I think
of hockey when I think of Steve Levy.
I don't think Levy's making my team. Actually, I don't think Levy's making the team. You know who somebody's very underrated from that time? Charlie Steiner.
I actually had really thought about
Charlie Steiner was good.
Here's my thing. Charlie Steiner is more known for the commercials than he is actual SportsCenter, though.
He was good, though. Goodness gracious. He was really, really good.
By the way, what happened to America? We need to get back to this is SportsCenter commercials. We used to be a proper country.
I mean, these were like our news anchors. We don't get the news from these people anymore. That's why it really mattered. Fair. We used to get the news from them. We don't get the news from them at all anymore. And
we can still get commercials from them. We're like... there's so many good SportsCenter commercials.
They still have SportsCenter. Do you ever watch it?
I can't remember. It's on, but I don't watch it. If that makes sense.
Other than the Scott Van Pelt SportsCenter, I could not name a current person on the show. Like, not a newer person on the show.
What's her face? Is it Ellie Duncan?
She does SportsCenter?
Yeah, she does the 5 o'clock one here. The only reason I know that is because on The Office.
Yeah, I don't
go home and watch it. It's here. And
I
I'm just
cannot tell you the last time that I watched SportsCenter at 5 o'clock. Like, I have no memory of the last time that I watched SportsCenter at 5 o'clock. Speaking of 5 o'clock, keep it right here. You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan. We'll get to the top stories of the day in Kansas City. We'll talk about Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who is going to be out for the season. The Royals are playing some of their best baseball for the years. And we'll talk about Kingsley Suamataia. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Catch Hall of Famer Denny Matthews every Monday at 3.
And gone, Bobby Witt.
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Still working the crash down South 435 eastbound just past Antioch. You've got 3 right lanes closed, so move to the left through there. Shawnee, that's a stall. That's 35 southbound on the ramp to Antioch there. Right lane blocked. From the Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric Traffic Center, I'm Val, 96.5 The Fan.
Tiger, Dragon, do you have what it takes to win? Be fierce like the tiger, strong like the dragon. Only the brave will survive.
Yeah, that's not how these games work. With Tiger and Dragon from the Kansas Lottery, you can win up to $125,000 or $100K in a second chance drawing.
You are weak.
Ouch. It's not a video game. It's better. Play Tiger and Dragon instant games from the Kansas Lottery.
Let's play.
Yeah, that works. See kslottery.com for details.
Hi, it's Christina with Piropos Restaurant on the hill at Briarcliff. When you dine at Piropos, you love the cuisine we mastered from Argentina, like our famous empanadas, crab bisque, peppercorn encrusted filet, and so much more. But we prepare to say wow with our stunning hilltop views overlooking downtown Kansas City. Be playful and enjoy life at Piropos Fordine. Go to piroposkc.com or call 816-741-3600.
I'm I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, low prices, best trade-ins, and the biggest selection. Visit robsite.com.
Shopping for a new Ford? Go where it's easy. Robsite Ford. Non-commissioned staff, huge trade-in values, and Kansas City's top-rated Ford dealer. Robsite Ford. ROBSIGHT.com.
You ever wonder what the K has in common with Waikiki? One's got the roar of the crowd, the other, the roar of the surf. Dirt on the base paths meet sandy beaches. And Hawaiian shirts? Actually, they've both got those. On Saturday, August 30th, when the Royals take on the Tigers, the first 15,000 fans take home a limited edition Royals Hawaiian shirt, presented by Miller Lite. Yowabunga, KC. Tickets at royals.com/promotions.
Hi, I'm Trisha, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where we're all about you, your style, your budget, your dream engagement ring. Are you looking for a style that's classic, modern, vintage, or something in between? Not sure? At Shane Company, we're here to help. We have so much style under one roof because a friend knows you like options. Drop by or visit us at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey, it's Gold, and Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. Circa Million, pick 5 games against the spread each week, 126 ways to win with $6 million guaranteed. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread, lasts the longest to win it all. $15 million guaranteed. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details. Training camp in St. Joe is over.
And they don't just call it training camp. They're actually training for the skills they'll have to use all season long.
And you know who else trains that way? Centric Training, except without the shoulder pads and the helmet.
They'll train you on the exact job skills you'll need to be a cybersecurity specialist, and they'll do it in just 4 months, not 4 years.
Get started today, and you can be in your new career before the playoffs even start. Reach out to our friend Russ. Go to centric.com.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is John, and I've been on ED and testosterone treatment at Heartland Men's Health for the past 15 months. I could tell, I was starting to go downhill, and my wife kept telling me, well, you need to go to a clinic that'll specialize in that. And that's what eventually led me into the men's clinic here. Treatment, in my opinion, is a miracle. I was able to perform to an elevated position that, quite honestly, I never thought I'd see again. For my fellow men out there, if you're feeling that you're not up to par, I encourage you, contact Heartland Men's Health, and you will see a dramatic difference.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You can listen to the Royals and Tigers Friday, August 22nd on The Fan, AM 610, with Vern's On Deck show starting at 5. KFNZ FM and AM HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Rob, can you help this individual? I'm going to tell you what this person asked. Because it seems like a real genuine question, so I want to help. The person texted and asked, they said, I have a question. I was like, well, I'll try to help you. Person then replied and said, can I call? And I was like, no, I don't think we're taking any calls. This was their question, Rob. Dang, well, okay, I'll text it to you. I'm in 2 different fantasy leagues, and I want to know who you guys' top pick would be. You know what? I'll help you. Rob, who would your top pick be in a fantasy league?
If I had the number 1 overall pick?
If you had the number 1 overall pick.
Be John Robinson.
Okay. I would select Justin Jefferson. Feels like a good pick.
That's also a good pick.
That's all I got for you.
Jamar Chase also would be a good pick.
Yeah, I don't have anything else. Those seem like good fantasy ideas. So hopefully we helped you. I'm here to help people. That's what I'm here to do. HUD tells me it's about people. So sometimes we just have to take time out of our day to help people. 913-586-7965. We have a lot of things to get into in today's show. We are going to try to get to all of those things in the next 20 minutes. Let's start with the number one thing that I want to talk about in the 5 o'clock hour. It is related to Rashee Rice. We got a chance to talk about this very briefly at the end of the show on Friday. It wasn't nearly enough time. Now we got time. This is the latest from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. He believes that the NFL is looking for a lengthy suspension for Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice pled guilty last month to 2 third-degree felony charges stemming from a car crash at high speeds back in March of 2024. The expectation is Rashee Rice is going to be suspended for a portion of the 2025 season. The question now is how much? My understanding is the NFL initially proposed a lengthy suspension, double-digit games for Rashee Rice. The Players Union and Rashee Rice's attorney and agents argued for a much shorter suspension, in part because there is no precedent for suspending someone for over half the season in a case like this. So as you mentioned, there is a September 30th hearing set before former federal judge Sue L. Robinson, who previously heard the initial Deshaun Watson case several years ago here. But there is still a possibility that the sides could come together and agree to a settlement on a suspension that would allow Rice to be suspended at the start of the season. If not, then he would be eligible for at least those first 3 games. But given the fact that not only the decision-making process, but potential appeals could extend that process into October or November if it goes before Judge Robinson, this is something then that could potentially jeopardize his availability for the postseason. A lot to consider as this case moves forward.
All right. I know we have a lot of things to get into. I won't spend the whole 20 minutes talking about this. Check out the podcast page if you missed it. Rashee Rice should be suspended. What he did is very, very serious. There is also not a precedent of suspending a player for the amount of time that was discussed in that audio clip that is not an abuser. Since 2018, the only player to be suspended more than 8 games that was not related to gambling has been Deshaun Watson. Now, we don't have to go back and go through every individual off-the-field incident for a football player. Some have involved women. Some have involved gambling. There's a lot of them. Unless you are very abusive to women and or damage the integrity of the game, you get less than 8 games. I think the NFL is overstepping their bounds here just a little bit, and they are trying to create a precedent for a situation that I'm not really sure if you need to create a precedent. I think that there is already wording for this in the NFL handbook. This is a violation of the player personal conduct policy. That's a 6-game suspension. Now, if you want to maybe tack in a couple of games because of the fleeing the scene, that all makes sense to me. 8, to me, is the limit I would accept if I'm the Chiefs. I don't think he is going to get more than 8 games from the judge. If the judge reviewed all of the evidence with Deshaun Watson and gave him a 6-game suspension, I don't know if Sue L. Robinson is going to come to the conclusion that Rashee Rice should get 10 games. If she comes to that conclusion, I would be worried about it because I don't know if Rashee Rice is playing anytime soon. If she sat there and went through all of the evidence and talked to people associated with the Deshaun Watson case and came to the conclusion that that was just a violation of the player personal conduct policy and a 6-game suspension, and if she rules harsher than that for Rashee Rice, I'd be worried about it. I think the best interest for everybody, the best interest for the Chiefs, the best interest for Rashee, the best interest for the team, the best interest for the league is to simply reach a settlement before the start of the season. At this point, we are not talking about if he is going to be suspended. I don't even think we're talking about just a 2 or 3 game suspension. If that's what you thought in this, if the NFL tells you they want double-digit games, they ain't letting them just miss 2 games. So we're talking about a suspension that's going to hurt a little bit. It should hurt a little bit when you did what Rashee Rice was found guilty of doing. Not accused, but found guilty of doing. I just don't think that the NFL is in a place to now give out a 10, 12-game suspension when the people who have gotten that have been Greg Hardy, when the people who have gotten that have been Deshaun Watson. Very, very serious crimes against women. I just don't think that's what it is. So I don't think that we can use that as a baseline, as a precedent for this case. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody can tell you they know what's going to happen with Rashee Rice. There is no there's no comparison to this in the National Football League. Every time you kind of think you have an idea of what they're going to do, they always end up throwing a curveball in this. I didn't think the league was going for him like this. It sounds to me like the league wants to make them pay. It sounds to me like the league wants to send a message regarding this suspension, and we'll see if they went out. Sue L. Robinson said that Deshaun Watson should be suspended for 6 games. The league thought that he should get a full season suspension. They agreed on 11. Now, what do you get here? Does she say 6? The league thinks 12, and they agree on 10? Again, none of us are going to know until September 30th and the ruling, and then we get more information. That's why I think if you're the Chiefs, that's why I think if you're Rashee Rice, your best interest is just to agree from the very beginning of the season. Agree to a 6-game suspension. 6 to 8. You miss the first half of the season. It puts you back in time to potentially play in the Buffalo game, the most important game of the season. But it also lines up where you can play the second half of the season and you can play enough games to be physically ready to compete to help this team go on another Super Bowl run. That's what I would try to focus on, because the worst thing that could now happen for Rashee Rice is, let's say you let this thing go to September 30th. Let's say it takes 4 or 5 days for us to get back. You then don't like the ruling. You want to appeal the ruling. The league wants to appeal the ruling. There's then more back and forth. And then now it's week 11 of the NFL season. They hit you with the 8-game suspension. That's not what you want to have happen if you were the Kansas City Chiefs. So just take your medicine now. You know you got to take your medicine at some point. We don't know when, but we know you got to take your medicine. Just take it now. Just get out the way. Take your 7-game suspension. Be back for the 2 games before the Buffalo game, and let's go on with the rest of our lives, and let's make better decisions. Let's make better choices. That would be my advice if Rashee Rice came to me asking what he should do. So that's one of the top stories right now in Kansas City. I'll get you another one. Felix Anudike-Uzomah, he is heading to the injured reserve list. His season is done.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. I mean, that's, he's worked hard, so we'll see where it goes. I can't tell you how long it's going to be, but any time for that is disappointing for him, I know, because he works so stinking hard.
So that was Andy Reid today. They are putting Felix Anudike-Uzomah on the IR list. So I looked this up just because I wanted to be informed myself. So you can designate 8 players who go on the IR to come back throughout the season. Now, I don't believe they're putting him on this list. I feel like by now that would have been communicated to us that, hey, he's going to miss the first 4 games of the season. We're going to designate him able to come back. That's what happened last year with Hollywood Brown. He was on the list, but he was one of the players that they kind of protected in that sense. That's why he could come back so late in the season. Doesn't sound like they're going to do that with Felix. It sounds like that's going to be his season. So he has now played 3 years in the National Football League, or been in the NFL for 3 years. He has 3 sacks and has made 3 starts and has 40 tackles in his career. This just goes to show you the power of Brett Veach, the power of winning, and the benefit of doubt and good credit that they have built up. Felix Anudike is one of the worst draft picks that they have ever made. And I don't mean just like Brett Veach. I mean like period in the history of the Chiefs. If they had an all-bust team, he would be starting on that team. He has 2.5 sacks, 3 sacks in the first 2 years, and now is going to miss the entire 3rd season. It could not have possibly gone any worse than it's gone for Felix Anudike-Uzomah. None of it matters. No one cares. I don't even care. The Chiefs have been so good that they essentially threw away a first-round draft pick in 2023, and it has had no effect on the rest of their team. Now, sure, you got to go out in free agency, and maybe you wouldn't have brought back Charles Omenihu if Felix had been good. maybe you would have done this differently or this differently. Like, yeah, we can play that game. But just think about it. Like right now, if I suggested that the Chiefs use one of their first-round picks to trade for an established player in the league, the overwhelming sentiment would be, that's way too expensive. No, we never give up a first-round pick. They're way too valuable. The Chiefs just lit one of those on fire at one of the most important positions on the field. He has never helped them win a game. He has never been instrumental in them winning a game, and no one cares. It does not matter. That is something you only get when you have been as successful as the Chiefs have been. That's the only way that it matters, if that's the case. I mean, kind of the same thing for Sky Moore. Now, the Sky Moore thing's a little bit differently because they've drafted at his position and they've gotten it right. I think we all know that you're not going to hit on 100% of your draft picks. So, I mean, they've spent over the last, 3 drafts, they have spent a first-round pick and 2 second-round picks on wide receiver. They have hit on 2 of them and missed on the other. I mean, you'll take that. I don't have an issue with that. That's kind of the game. You're not going to go 100% from the field when talking about draft picks. Rashee Rice looks like a legitimate number 1/high 2 in the league. And Xavier Worthy's a very productive wide receiver. So if you take 3 swings, you hit on 2 of them, you have a nice 2 for 3 day. You can live with that. The Felix is just a miss. Like you can't even dress that up as a possible. That's one of the bigger misses that they've had. It is a Breeland Speaks, Ryan Sims level miss. And it will just not be discussed that way. That's the beauty of Pat. We were talking about this earlier, and someone was like, what's the numbers between Sky Moore and John Baldwin? John Baldwin was actually better than what Sky Moore has been. Like he has 100 more yards and has more touchdowns in his career. One of them got to play with Pat. And when you get to be around Pat and you get the shine of being on those teams, we just remember you very, very differently. If FAU, let's say that the FAU pick had happened in 1995, he'd be some of you guys' least favorite player. We'd laugh at that player. The way you laugh at Ryan Sims or some of the players that don't matter. You're on this team. You got a ring still. You're part of those teams. It's just very, very different. So sad to hear that about Felix Onyeudike. Was certainly hoping that he was going to have a good year. I've got my suspicions. They're not even open, it sounds like, to giving you a chance to come back. Like, they left the door open for Hollywood Brown and left it open the entire season. Hollywood Brown didn't come back until December. We were talking about the middle of the season. When could he come back? When could he help? They were always going to accept him back. It sounds to me like they've already closed the door. I wonder if they were planning on cutting him. Or they just needed that roster spot. He was on the fringe, and they asked him to take a Tyler Bray. You guys remember that back in the day? Back in the day with Tyler Bray, he would just have a magical elbow injury and just be out. And okay, all right. So I think we can go ahead and we can remove the possibility of them picking up his 5th-year option. That's over. And next year is going to be the last season for Felix Onyeudike if he's even on the team. I don't know if he's coming back. I would not be surprised in the least bit if they just move forward. You would have to think that they draft a defensive lineman, or it ends up working out. Maybe Ashton Gelati has a really good year. Omar Norman Lott has a really good year. You're also going to need to go in the draft. Dana's on a final year of his deal, Charles Omenihu. So they probably end up either in free agency spending money or a draft pick. I don't know if Felix has a job left with the Kansas City Chiefs after this news.
I understand where that sentiment comes from. But when was the last time the Chiefs just gave up on a first-round pick before he got through the 4 years? He will not play year 3. He will still have next year under contract. Maybe they cut him at the end of next preseason, and maybe they move on. But man, the Chiefs don't really cut first-round picks. Even Clyde Edwards-Helaire got the 5th year, and I think he even got a 6th year. Now, there was some off-the-field circumstance, but they don't really cut guys when they're on their rookie deal still. It's not really a thing for the Chiefs.
I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire could at least help them in some capacity. Clyde Edwards-Helaire could still kind of play a little bit. This is the guy that doesn't get on the field. He doesn't get on the field. He has less than 40 tackles in his career. He has 3 sacks in 2 seasons. He was looking like he was going to be your 3rd-string defensive end this year. If we go back and look at the depth chart, the preseason depth chart, the second week, how many D linemen do we think were ahead of him? 5, 6? We're saying you were a first-round pick heading into your 3rd year. This is go time. This is go time. And we think you were the 5th or 6th defensive lineman. He might be back. I mean, we know they're not picking up his 5th-year option. There's no reason to pick up his 5th-year option. So he is entering the final year of a contract. He is absolutely on the list of guys who can get cut next season. So we'll see how things go. I do want to talk about Kingsley Suamataia here for a little bit before we got to sign off. We're going to hand things off to Vern coming up in just a little bit. It's funny because I think that like Kingsley and FAU should probably be viewed the exact same way, but I think the big difference is the Chiefs kind of label Kingsley as next. I don't think they really said it as much as their actions. Kingsley from, I would say, May of last year up until September of last year, they treated like he was their left tackle of the future. He got every rep. Rob, you remember heading into training camp last year, you and I thought that they were going to have a position battle at left tackle between him and Wanye Morris. It was never a battle. They gave Kingsley the job. He started week 1. They moved like Kingsley was a starting caliber left tackle in the National Football League, and they quit that experiment 6 quarters into the start of the season and never considered going back. They desperately need. They would have rather had signed DJ Humphries, who was coming off a serious leg injury, who didn't play the first 3 months of the season. They were willing to give him a chance to play left tackle before they gave Kingsley a second chance to play left tackle. So I think part of the reason we talk about Kingsley the way that we do is first impressions. The first impression for FAU was he's never made an impression. He's always been kind of out of sight, out of mind. We've always looked at this as, hey, this is kind of Clark Hunt's pet project. There was this player that was from the city. They wanted this cool moment. We had the draft. They got him. And then we've never seen him. We've never discussed him. We've never talked about him. He's just kind of been out of sight, out of mind. Kingsley's always been front and center. He's always been in your face. So last year they tried the left tackle thing. It failed miserably. It could not have gone any worse. And this year at left guard, it's been a little bit hit or miss. If they had treated Kingsley more like how they treated FAU, and we just didn't see him last year, and now he was getting his chances, I think people would talk about Kingsley very, very differently. But that's not how it's gone. It's been very hit or miss so far in the preseason. So he played 10 snaps on Friday night. He played 10 snaps. He was their highest graded offensive player. He had the lowest pass block rate. He rated 28.4. I want to let you know that this is out of 100. He rated 28.4. There was not another player on the field that was below a 72. Now, it's a very limited sample. It's just 10 plays. But when it came to run blocking, he was pretty good. He had an 89.2. I only bring this up is because, for the most part, every spot on the Chiefs is filled. We didn't really spend a lot of time talking about position battles this year because you don't have position battles when you won the AFC 3 consecutive years and you went to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. You're not interested in position battles. That's a Cleveland Browns thing to have, especially when you have the amount of continuity that the Chiefs have. You know the Chiefs roster. Even if you didn't watch a second of training camp, you haven't read anything about it, if you watched the Chiefs at any point last year, you know their team. They have a position battle at one position on the field. It's his job. They're not getting rid of Josh Simmons. He ain't going nowhere. They spent the first-round pick. They love him. They've already paid their center. They paid their right guard. Their right tackle's the second highest paid player on the team this year. Those guys aren't going anywhere. The only player right now on the entire Chiefs roster who is in a potential of losing their job is Kingsley Suamataia. He's the only one. Jalen Moore he is waiting for you to mess up. Waiting. And I think they will have another quick hook when it comes to Kingsley Suamataia. They will have another one. If he struggles in that first game in Brazil, and he is struggling again heading into the second game against the Philadelphia Eagles, a team that you know has a really good pass rush, I would not be shocked if he gets once again sent to the land of misfit toys. They got $21 million right now just sitting on the bench. They got $21 million just watching the games. They are looking for a reason to put him into the game. So I'm not telling you that Kingsley's going to work. I'm not telling you it's not going to work. It is very early on, and let's see. I'm saying is he's the only person fighting for his job. Everybody else, you know exactly what their role is. I know how their team's going to work. We've been watching this team now for 2 consecutive years. We all know how it's going to work. I also know that when you spend a first-round pick on a left tackle and you've been playing him since day one, he also ain't the one that's moving. You've made that pretty clear, especially when you had an option of starting somebody else there who played left tackle last year in the league, and you've never given him reps over there at left tackle. But you have given him rep at Kingsley's job. Kingsley is the only person right now fighting for a job. So let's see how it works. But You got to be better than this, because having a 28, when we're talking about a pass blocking grade, that's Patrick Mahomes getting hurt. And they obviously are not going to have that. All right, Rob, we're off early today, right? Royals and Rangers. The Royals really need this game. They really, really do. They got Michael Wacha on the hill. The Royals have played much better baseball of late. They have averaged 5.2 runs since the All-Star break. They are 16-11 since the All-Star break. We got Vern up next. We'll be back tomorrow. Catch you guys. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car